Council first regular meeting, March 11th, 2026, 6 p.m., Parish Council Meeting Room, 5th floor, Courthouse, Franklin, Louisiana. We'll have our invocation by Honorable Christy Rink, Dr. Rink, and then our Pledge of Allegiance by Honorable Dean Adams.
In the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Lord, inspire us today with the qualities of good leadership. Give us insight to make wise decisions, integrity to face the truth, courage to make difficult choices, and compassion for the needs of others. Make us a model of justice and honor in the world, and let us never forget that our job is to serve both you and others. Amen.
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Behind for me.
Roll call, Mrs. Morgan.
Yes, ma'am. Reverend Matthews?
Present.
Mr. Ina? He's absent. Mr. Olander?
Present.
Mr. Hill?
Present.
Mr. Rolfe? He's absent. Mr. Hebert?
Present.
Mr. Davis?
Present.
Mr. Duhon?
Present.
Mr. Adams?
Present.
Dr. Rink?
Present.
And Mrs. Hidalgo.
Present.
You have a quorum present, ma'am.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to acknowledge Mayor Duval Arthur from Berwick, and also our St. Mary Parish Assessor, Mr. Jarrett Longman, and also our Sheriff, Mr. Gary Driscoll. Thank y'all for being here. Item 5, reading of the minutes of the previous meeting.
Madam Chair, I move that we dispense with the reading and accept as written.
I have a motion by
Second.
Mr. Orlando, second by Mr. Adams. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And at this time, if the council will allow, we're gonna move up items 14A, resolution for Mr. Tommy Longman.
So 14A is a resolution of respect in memory of Mr. Thomas Tommy Keith Longman. Mr. Adams, what is your wishes?
So moved.
So moved by Mr. Adams, seconded by the council. Okay, very good. Any discussion? I'll read the resolution into the record. Whereas the Lord Almighty in his infinite mercy and goodness has seen fit to remove from our midst Thomas Tommy Keith Longman, father of St. Mary Parish Assessor Jarrett Longman, and whereas Mr. Longman was a longtime resident of Morgan City, a loving and devoted husband, father, grandfather, and great-grandfather who cherished spending time with family, and whereas Mr. Longman dedicated over 30 years to the local law enforcement, served as a volunteer firefighter with the Morgan City Volunteer Fire Department for many years, served as a dispatcher, patrolman, detective, and undercover narcotics agent for St. Mary Parish Sheriff's Office, an inspector overseeing the Morgan City Sheriff's Office until retirement. And whereas Mr. Longman also worked as an investigator and community liaison with the District Attorney's Office of the 16th Judicial District, earned numerous certifications throughout his career, including DEA and FBI training on narcotics, intelligence, surveillance, was an instructor for many enforcement classes, and believed in the importance of ethics and performing job duties the right way. And whereas Mr. Longman was a longtime member of the Derrick Lodge number 87, F&AM in Morgan City, and was active in local politics, running many successful campaigns, including electing his son to both the Morgan City Council and the St. Mary Parish Assessor. And whereas the members of the St. Mary Parish Council wish to acknowledge publicly their sorrow and sympathy to the family of Mr. Longman, and hopes that his family will find comfort in the thought that their grief and sorrow are shared by their friends. Now therefore be it resolved by the St. Mary Parish Council through the unanimous adoption of this resolution that they solemnly deliberate with sincere condolences, sympathy, and understanding during this time of grief, adopted and approved by the Parish of St. Mary in regular session convened on this, the 11th day of March 2026, and approved by Gwendolyn L. Hidalgo, St. Mary Parish Council Chairperson.
Madam Chair,
Mr. Adams?
I met Mr. Longman many, many years ago when him and his son worked at Today's Tire. Had a lot of conversations during the day. A lot of good memories with him. Honorable guy. Fun to be around. Jared, I'm sorry for your loss.
Reverend Matthews?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would just like to express my heartfelt condolences to my friend and my brother, Jared Longman. And I want to say to you, Jared, that you have demonstrated the epitome of what a fine gentleman your father was because of what he instilled in you to be able to serve your community, to be a family man, to work and have a professional, long-term, successful career, but at the same time, devote your attention, your affection, and your loving care to your dear father during his most vulnerable season. And that is honorable, particularly for someone in a public position such as yourself, when we know how demanding that role is. But you never let your father down. And so thank you for setting that example as a fine public official. We appreciate you very much.
Thank you. Anyone else? Sam?
I too want to tell you the history that we've had. We rode together and all those times and days, shot at and missed, shot at and hit. He was great. He was great till the end. Every time I'd go to visit him, couldn't get away. Couldn't get away. So I'm sorry for your loss. We will carry on.
Comments or discussion?
Just a quick comment, ma'am. Our deepest sympathies for you. You know, I know your dad was very, very proud of you. Turned out to be a wonderful, wonderful gentleman, and you're a great assessor for our parish. And I want to thank you for that.
Thank you.
And for the record, we'd like to acknowledge that Mr. Ina is in presence. He's in attendance. Thank you. So if we don't have any further discussion, we're going to do a roll call on 14A. Reverend Matthews.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ina.
Yes.
Mr. Olander.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rolfe. He's absent. Mr. Hebert.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Duhon.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Rink.
Absolutely.
And Mrs. Hidalgo.
Yes, ma'am.
We have 10 yeas and 1 absent, and the resolution carries. Thank you. Like to take a picture? Mrs. Jones.
No.
Move over, yeah. And just remember, if you can't see me, I can't see you. A little bit more, Mr. Jones. Okay. Ready? 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
And I will do my best. Good evening, council members. It's my pleasure to be here to report to you on St. Mary Parish Council's 2024 audit report. In front of you, you'll have a couple of reports. One of them, it's 19 pages, so the smaller one, that's the Louisiana Agreed Upon Procedures. Those are the procedures that the legislative auditor requires us to perform anytime we do an audit. And we have a report in there which lists those procedures that we're required to do, what we found, if any findings, and then management's comments, if any. I am not going to go through that one tonight for brevity purposes, so, but I would encourage you to, in your leisure, take some time to read through that. And of course, if you have any questions on that, please feel free to get back with us or management. The next report you have in front of you is the primary government audit report, and that's the one I'm going to be going over tonight. It's 126 pages. Within a couple of days, we're going to drop off what's called the reporting entity, and the reporting entity is about 215 pages. So the difference between the primary government report and the reporting entity report is this. Primary government is going to take care of reporting the activities of the parish council and all of the various funds that y'all are directly responsible for. The reporting entity takes all of the parish entities, including the component units, water districts, sewer districts, hospital service districts, etc., recreation districts, fire districts, all of those, puts it all in one report and provides you with financial information and notes to those financial statements for those entire entities. It's an important document. It's useful for a lot of reasons. It'll be a great reference for you, going forward from here. But tonight, I'm just going to concentrate on the reporting entity. So with that said, let's go ahead and open up our books, if you would. Feel like a teacher here. So we'll go to page. The page number is page 1. It's the independent auditor's report. So I'm happy to report to you that your audit report is what we call an unmodified opinion. It is the highest opinion that we provide on the financial statements. In the second paragraph on page 1, it says, in our opinion, based on our audit, the accompanying financial statements referred to above present fairly in all material respects the respective financial position of the governmental activities, business type activities, each major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information for the primary government. So that's basically what, I guess in one respect, that's what you pay us for, is to provide that opinion, and we're in a position to be able to give you what's called an unmodified opinion, so we don't qualify that in any way. The remaining pages review the basis of our opinions, what our responsibilities are, what your responsibilities are, and reports to you that in here there are some supplementary information that's provided, some of which is required by generally accepted accounting practices, generally accepted governmental standards, all of those things, and then some other required information that is required by the Louisiana Legislative Auditor, and those are included in there. I'm not going to go through any more of those. So then we move to page 7. And page 7 is what we call, this is the statement of net position, and this is for the government-wide. So this is the entire parish. The difference in this particular report, the statement of net position, it's akin to a balance sheet. What it reports to you is all of the assets and all of the liabilities, including the infrastructure, including the buildings and all of those things that you own, subject to depreciation. We take some depreciation off on that. And it includes all of the liabilities, some of which are not liabilities that you deal with on a day-to-day basis, but that it's required reporting, and that it's important for you to understand some of those things. For example, landfill closure costs and post-closure costs are reported at their calculated amount. That's some $11 million. That's a future expense that you have to incur, and it's reported on this statement. Your net pension liability, the difference between what you've already funded in pensions and what that potential liability might be when everyone retires. And things like other than pension, employee benefits, health insurance obligations, and so forth that continue based on your obligation to your employees. Those are all reported on here. I'm just going to touch base on just the very large numbers here. In the case of the governmental activities and the business activities combined, so that's the right-hand column, the total of your total assets and deferred outflows is $143.6 million. Your net position is $69.5 million in that particular case. All right, so those are the big numbers. Doesn't really affect much of what you do to your, as far as your budget. So I'm going to move on to those related items. On page 8 gives us a statement of activities. So this covers there again all of those particular programs. It's a little bit different in what a lot of you may be used to seeing, because it starts with expenses. Normally you look at an income statement, we start with revenue and then we go down through expenses. This one starts with expenses. And for all of these various activities, St. Mary Parish government spent $30,605,000. The net change in position was $1,395,000 as a positive number, which means that you took in more total revenues than you had in total expenses, which is always a good thing to have. All right. Now we'll get into kind of the meat of the report on governmental activities, which I think is going to be a little more meaningful for everyone. So over on page 9, we have the balance sheet for the governmental funds. This one starts with general fund on the left-hand side, runs through the various funds, and you'll see total governmental funds on the far right-hand side. So in this particular case, what I would like to focus on this one is the total fund balances. So the fund balances in, for example, in the general fund, it's $1.1 million. Then you'll see road construction and maintenance fund has a deficit of $2,550,000. Sanitation fund, $1.2 million positive. Capital improvement fund, negative of $1,667,000. CDBG, $1,100. Combined sewer construction, $1.1 million. The other governmental funds, $6.2 million, giving you a total governmental funds fund balance of $5,477,000. Now, as you probably heard in years past, that doesn't mean you have $5.4 million of cash to spend on projects. That are programs or expenditures. Some of that is tied up in restricted, assets that are restricted for specific purposes, some that are assigned for various functions there. But we detail that on this financial statement. We do want to point out, because I think this is important and something that you need to consider in your operations going forward. Road construction and maintenance fund has a deficit of $2.5 million. What that means is you spent $2.5 million more than you took in. Now that's an accumulated number. That didn't just happen in 2024. That's an accumulated number, but it's an issue that's going to need to be dealt with. Additionally, the capital improvement fund has $1.66 million of a deficit. There again, you've accumulated a loss, if you allow me to just use that general term to explain that. Let's flip over to page 11, and this will show the activity for this particular year. This is the fiscal year ended December 31st. And you can see each of the particular funds, same funds I'm talking about. Let me make one more comment about other governmental funds. That far right-hand column, other governmental funds are primarily two groups of funds, your special revenue funds and your debt service funds. The details of those are further back in the report. So they're here. If you say, oh, okay, well, we've got some fund balance here. Let me go look and see where that is. That information is in the report, but it's not as significant as the ones that we're listing out, I guess, if you will. The general fund this year had an excess of revenue over expenditures of $726,802. That's on the left-hand column, the third line from the bottom, with a $409,000 beginning fund balance that brings you to a $1.1 million fund balance for the year. On the two funds I mentioned that we have some concerns over, the road construction and maintenance and the capital improvements, you'll see that those lost money this year. They had deficits in each of those two funds. And they carried in a fund deficit from the previous year. So when I was here to talk about that in 2023, it was one of the things I pointed out to you, is that we did have these deficits, and that these deficits would need to be taken care of or managed going forward. So let's now go to page 13. We're going to 13 and 14, and I'll just kind of look at these two together. But these are what's called your proprietary funds. These are more business-like operations. So that includes the reduction in transfer fund and your small animal control fund and the Kemper Williams fund. Okay, so balance sheet on page 13, income statement on page 14, and you'll see the net changes in fund balance and net position. In these cases, all of these funds have a positive fund balance. They're more like a business, though, in that, remember when I talked about government-wide, had all of your assets and so forth on there? These financial statements also have the hard assets, the buildings, the equipment, and so forth that relate to those particular operations. They're carried on these financial statements. All right. With that, let's move to page 17 and 18. These financial statements here are 17 through 19. These reports here are the budgetary comparisons. So this is going to show you what your original budget was, your final adopted budget, your actual expenditures, and the variance from those budgeted amounts. These break the expenses down a little bit more than the previous expenditure reports, so you can see where the categories that some of these particular funds are going to. The other thing this details is operating transfers, where the transfers were either money that was transferred in or money that was transferred out, and so those are for our consideration. You'll see in the case of, on page 18, road construction and maintenance fund, there is a large variance in the final fund, the final revenue number, between what was actually collected and what the final budget was, and that's a number, the royalty road fund. That's a number that has trended down over the last few years significantly. So traditionally, the royalty road funds has been the primary funder for the activities of the road construction and maintenance fund, and those have really tailed off. What that's doing is putting much more pressure on the general fund and needing general fund revenue in order to be able to run that department, which is one of the more significant departments of your operation. And we have a breakdown of what those where those expenditures are going. One thing I would point out on the road construction fund, even and this is just kind of to share with you so you understand where some of these numbers come from and then where they go. In the case of the road construction and maintenance fund, that federal grant right there, $1,361,000, you'll see that on the top of page 18, the actual column, $1,361,000. That is your Go Mesa revenue. Those revenues are dedicated to the bonded indebtedness. If you remember when the Go Mesa program started, St. Mary Parish Council, among many other parishes, went out and bonded that money. You borrowed $11.5 million. But that revenue that comes in is dedicated to that. So while it shows as revenue, it immediately gets taken back out. If you go down to operating transfers out, debt service fund, interest and principal, that about $1.1 million or right at $1 million, that number, that 339 and 664, that goes out before you it comes in, transfer it over to them, they take their cut. The remaining 300 is revenue for you, but it's revenue that can only be spent on programs or projects that are approved for Go Mesa. And that doesn't mean cutting grass. That means building something, that type of thing. So it's a little bit deceiving there. The second thing is the other pressure that you have on this particular fund is you'll see also in operating transfers out, certificates of indebtedness sinking fund, $1,370,000. That's to pay the bonded indebtedness on the, I think Paul said it was originally $20 million. It's shown on the report as $19 million. That's to pay that debt. So while your royalty road money is $1 million, you got 1.3 million that's got to go to pay debt right off the bat. Doesn't leave much, as you can see, to actually cover the operations there. So that's why that one is really turned on us, and one that is going to need more revenue, less expenses, some combination of all of that. After that, we get into the notes of the financial statements, and I'm not going to go through a whole lot of detail on this. I will tell you that there is good information in here, but I'm gonna just try and hit a couple of highlights. I'm gonna point out the note on page 34. Fund deficits, that's one of the things we're required to report, and as we've been talking about, the capital improvements fund and the road construction fund have deficits that have accumulated, and then the jail operating fund has a deficit of $126,000. That one has not been always a deficit. It's kind of bounded back and forth, but for the last 2 years, those two major funds have had those issues. On page 35, we detail the budget differences, the significant budget revenue shortfall, and we just talked about the road construction fund, so I think that's sufficient there. On page 43, I wanted to, I'm sorry, page 41 and 42 cover all of the transfers. So if you're looking at the financial statement, you see a transfer out or a transfer in, and you're wondering who that's for, that's the page that details all of those. On page 43 are some due froms that you have. So these are some funds that, some component units that owe you money, that are in a not currently collectible situation. So we wanted to detail those. Page 44 has your fixed asset schedule. So when you're curious about what did we add in infrastructure or assets for the year, it's detailed here. One of them is construction in progress. So what happens there, we accumulate costs. Sometimes that's over a multi-year period, and then it gets converted to the actual asset when that job is complete. When you go to page 45, you've got your long-term debt, and it's got the details of each of those obligations that you have, the bonded indebtedness that you have. I like the schedule on 49 and page 50. It shows what we did with the debt last year, and you'll see, for example, bonds payable, we reduced the bonds by $3.1 million in the governmental activities section, and then on the business activities, there's another $1 million of reductions there, and it gives you your ending balance from there and the amounts due within a year. And then on page 50, we're showing you what all of those debts, what the debt repayment schedules are over the next 5 years and beyond that. So we detail each particular year for the next 5, and then kind of just group the remaining debt service that goes there. The debt will be around for a little while, 2044, before all of it's paid off.
Longer than this term is gonna last, right?
Yes. All right, now I am going to, and I'm skipping a pretty good section here that details pension and what we call OPEB, employee benefit information. Good information, but a little dry and a little hard to sit here and read. On page 65, we detail the solid waste landfill closure and post-closure costs. So just one of those things that's always good to keep up with, to kind of know where you stand on those. It's one of the obligations you have for operating a landfill. On page 74, then we get into the what I was referring to earlier, the special revenue and debt service funds. So these are the non-major governmental funds. So when I talked about that column on the far, on the statements in the front, these are the details of those. First, it's in a group, and then behind that, you'll see a description of each of those funds, and then you'll see a schedule that will actually put all of those balance sheets side by side and income statements side by side. And I know there's been some discussion here at the council tables concerning the wards 5 and 8 sales tax fund and the wards 1, 2, 3, et cetera, sales tax funds. Those are detailed on page 80, shows the revenue collected, what it was spent on, and what was transferred out, and then the remaining fund balance. So we do account for those there, and that information is there. We're going to go to 108. Not that the rest of this information isn't important. Just trying to be as brief as I can. Beat the next buzzer, maybe. Page 108 and 109, the details of the federal the expenditures of federal funds. So these are federal grants that you were awarded and spent money on. The major funds in this particular group are PROMESA, the transportation funds, those were for the airport, and then you had the coronavirus recovery funds, and those are probably about due. Starting on page 112, we have our independent opinions on the internal control and compliance. So we report on those. And on page 119, we talk about our findings. And so these are the findings that we have to kind of wrap up this report. Findings for 2024 include failure to collect certain fees. It's a repeat finding for 2023. Y'all have had a lot of discussion about some fees that you're owed, and that's what we're referring to in this particular note. The next one is budget monitoring, which we've talked about already, particularly on the road construction fund, and we detail those. There's a small variance on the boat landing permit fund. The problem is if it's a 5% variance that gets reported, it's only a $6,000 variance, but that's more than 5%, so it has to be reported. We also have a finding of fund deficits, which we've talked about, the three funds actually, road construction, capital improvement, and jail and operating. And then failure to file the audit report on time. And that basically concludes all of the highlights I wanted to touch on, but I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Madam Chair.
Landon?
Yeah, Tim, from what I can see and from what I can hear, I don't think we have a spending problem. I think we got a revenue problem, especially from the road royalty fund. I mean, we're talking about $2 million difference. The starting fund the year before, we had a shortfall of a little over $500,000, and then for 24 we had $2.5 million. But the road royalty fund, we shortfall of $2 million. So I don't think we're overspending. We're just not collecting the monies that we usually collect. Correct?
I picked up a couple of highlights just to, and I don't want to bore you with a lot of numbers, but from 21 through 24, this is what royalty road revenue did. 2.1 million, 3.3 million, 1.8 million, 1 million, and from what I'm understanding, it's going to be less in 2025. Your expenditures in that road construction fund were 4 million, 4.1, 4 million, and 3.3. So you've reduced your expenditures in that fund, having had to, but the revenue's gone down faster than those funds have. Total general fund revenue over that same, we're talking about 21 through 24, 13.3, 12.4, 8 million, 8. So COVID money, was certainly a blessing, but you're just having to adjust to a lot less revenue, and it shows in those federal grants. That's what's not living up to. And the expenditures, as you're noting, have been reduced, and it's hard to keep up with reducing them at a rate that keeps up with the pace at which the revenues are going down. The general fund balance, realistically, just to pay the bills as they come due, you need a couple of $1 million worth of fund balance just to do that. And the reason I say that, one of the little timing quirks in your financial statements, you assess your taxes on October 1st. So on October 1st, that's revenue for 2024, okay, October 1st of 2024. You don't collect that, you might get a check in December, for, you know, a few $1,000, and then you collect it in January, February, March. That's revenue in 2024. Your expenses started on January 1st, and so you need 10 months. You need basically 12 months worth of expense of that $3 million. You need that to be able to get there. Now you have some accounts payables at the end of the year too, and that's why I'm just kind of pulling a round number out the air. You need a couple $1 million fund balance just to be able to pay the general fund bills on time. The general fund also has to supplement road construction and maintenance, which it had in the past. You just don't have it. That $1 million that you'd have to send over there to underwrite their operations is another amount you'd have to come up with on a recurring basis to be able to do that. So it's definitely left you that drop in revenue has definitely left you in a significant bind.
Thank you, Tim.
Madam Chair. Mr. Mott, is there anything on that you know of where we can only bond so much as a council, so we don't put ourselves in a pickle for using all our cash? Is there any state laws or that you know of, or?
Generally speaking, there is a, yes, I guess not state laws as such as one, as a process you have to go through. You have to go before the State Bond Commission, and they're going to show me that you have the ability to pay it. Number two, a lender is not going to lend you money unless they can be assured that you're going to pay it. Now, they kind of work around it a little bit, because usually what they do, and I'll use the sales tax as a good example of that, goes into the general fund. Before you get sales taxes in the general fund, it goes to the bond sinking fund and pays the bonds. Then they let you transfer the balance over. So that's what kind of oftentimes they'll do to protect themselves. But a lender, meaning a bondholder, is not going to loan you money if they suspect you can't repay it. And number two, the State Bond Commission reviews that for the purpose of making sure that you don't overextend yourself. Keep you out of trouble. Keep them from, the legislative auditor has on occasion having to take over entities, mostly municipalities, but having to take over municipalities who get themselves in a bind and fiscally manage it.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Tim, thank you you and Ms. Alicia for a great report, and just for the time investment that you place into this phenomenal work, monumental work. But for the benefit of our parishioners, I do want to acknowledge that the bulk of the debt service burden that we've been carrying for the last several years, and as you clearly pointed out to us, is going to be around for longer than we will be around, is because of the bond money that we invested for the reconstruction of what I guess was 90%, close to 90% of the public roadways from the east end of the parish to the west. And this was in response to the public outcry of the great citizenry we have in St. Mary Parish about the condition of our public roads that had been in deplorable shape for a couple of decades. For whatever reason, whoever you want to blame for it, it's not about blame, but that was just the situation we were in. And we had not sought to invest this kind of money before, because we knew that it was going to incur this kind of long-term debt. But I believe we were at a point where we just couldn't go any further. Cars were falling apart. My cars were falling apart because of constant travel from one end of the parish to the other. And so we made a decision back then, collectively as a council and administration, to bond this money, this $20 million, $19 million, and repair almost 90% of the public roads from the east end of the parish, as far east as Amelia, all the way to St. Peter Street and Jeanerette Four Corners, and all the way out to Sycamore Point. So I'm not ashamed of that. None of us have any reason to be ashamed of that. We're not apologizing for that. That was an investment that had to be made in our parish, and we're going to get through it. We didn't know that the royalty road funds would take such a drastic dip, and it would be a continuing trend for this long. But I believe that things are going to shift at some point, and we're going to see that start to increase again. So I just wanted to be clearly understood that that's why we're carrying such a heavy load. The other debt service funds are just general things that we need in order to continue to operate the public amenities that we provide to ourselves as St. Mary parishioners. And then my final comment, when we met on Monday night as a finance committee with the at-large members, myself and the administration, I made a promise, Dr. Rank, that I was going to reiterate a comment that I made on Monday night. And considering these trends, you didn't say anything, but you're looking at me over there saying, I wonder if he's going to say it. And I am going to say it because I mean it, and I feel it, and it's deserving. I want to commend our administration, Mr. Gouvernail, Ms. Desiree, and Mr. Jones, for the work that you all have done over the last 2 years. Now, granted, this report is reflective of the last year and a little bit of the first year, the last year of the previous term, and the first year of this current term. But the trends in this report give clear indication that we are on a successful path to decreasing our expenses to compensate for those revenues that are on a constant decline. And you know, we had to kick. It's unfortunate that we had to kick and punch and fight at one another, theoretically, over the last 24 months to get through this challenge and to find ourselves a healthy balance. And there have been a lot of screaming matches in this room, but I believe it's all because of the passion that we all share in making sure that our parish is healthy and whole and that we can compete with surrounding parishes as we continue to grow forward. So again, Mr. Paul, Ms. Desiree, Mr. Jones, thank you for the work that you're doing to lead us in the right direction as we continue to make adjustments where necessary.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Thank you, Mr. Mott.
I'd like to.
And it's now recorded.
It's recorded.
I'd like to
I'd like
thank the
to-
council for the trust y'all have placed in us in performing this on behalf of myself and Alicia, the hospitality and the finance staff and the administration for working with us and helping to bring this about. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Madam Chair, I want to thank
Jones?
Mr. Mott for that report, and it's a good one. And, you know, we have had some ups and downs, as you said, but when I ran for this job, it was to fix it, not to make money off whatever. It was to fix it. And we still haven't gotten there yet.
Correct.
But I would say that probably this year or next year, we'll have slain some of it. But it's going to be a long time. And when I said I was running for one term, I don't know what I was thinking. I should have run for no terms. But but the thing is, whoever comes behind me, they're going to still have trouble.
Correct.
They're going to still have trouble for the out years unless we have some magical turn in the national thing. But I want to commend our people here who did what they needed to do so that we wouldn't finish with a deficit. We did not finish with a deficit. And the last one before I came in here had a deficit. I think it's 400,000 or something like that, which that's the first deficit I think this parish has ever had in 200 years. We don't need to do that again. We need to fix that and move ahead. But thank y'all.
Thank you, Mr. Jones.
Moving on to item 6B, Ms. Janet Oquin. You can proceed. State your name for the record, please.
Good evening. My name is Janet Oakway. I'm a resident from the Amelia area. I want to speak about the ordinance Mr. Adams presented at last meeting that we had to table for 20 days and before we can speak on it. After reviewing the proposal, there are several important issues that should be addressed to ensure that the law is enforceable, fair to residents, and effective in resolving nuisance animal problems. One is the ordinance that the way it is written, it lacks enforcement procedures. The ordinance does not establish a clear pathway for residents to seek recourse when nuisance animals create problems. While the parish already has laws addressing animals running at large in nuisance conditions, there are no defined protocols explaining how complaints should be filed, investigated, or resolved. Laws should include clear procedures so both citizens and enforcement agencies understand how they are to be applied. The second is there's no responsibility for property owners who feed animals on their property. The ordinance allows the owners to feed, but it does not address responsibility if those animals roam onto neighboring properties and cause nuisance conditions or property damage. If feeding is permitted, the ordinance should clarify that individuals who regularly feed animals are considered caretakers or responsible for preventing those animals from creating problems to their neighbors, which means they need to have them vaccinated, they need to contain it in their property, they need to get it neutered or spaded. At that point, it becomes their animal if they're going to continue to feed on their property. The definitions that you'll have in the ordinance for feeding and stray are very vague. Example, the current language could potentially apply to situations where residents are feeding their own pets or unintentionally attracting animals. Clear definitions are necessary so residents understand exactly what behavior is regulated. And then the main concern of the ordinance is Section 2, exemptions without oversight. You are exempting veterinarians, nonprofits, humane organizations, but it does not establish standards, oversight, or restrictions for activities. If these exemptions remain, the ordinance should include clear guidelines on what activities are permitted, how organizations qualify for exemption, and what responsibilities they have when managing stray animals. After carefully going through it, my recommendation would be establish a clear enforcement protocol for animal control in the sheriff's department, create a defined complaint process so residents know how to report nuisance animals and obtain recourse, clarify responsibility for individuals who regularly feed stray animals. Sorry, unclip it. Improve definitions of feeding, stray, and caretaker, and implement standards for organizations participating in stray animal management or TNR programs. That's my recommendations.
Anybody have any questions or concerns? Thanks, Mr.
I do. I have a couple of questions. I want to thank you for the effort and the work you put into sending us that, I think it was 9-page.
It was.
I thought it was extremely thorough, very, very thorough. And my intent is to take that, maybe tweak it a little bit, and ultimately amend this one because you go into great detail with it. This one I had the same issue with the exception clause. My understanding, I could join the Humane Society, send in my $5 a month, get my card, and then it gives me the right to do whatever I want to do. I guess anybody's wanting to do that can easily do that and then get away with it and say, here, I'm a card holder member.
Correct.
You can't come after me no more, and I can't be fined, and I can continue to go put food wherever I want to put food. So I think there needs to be a lot more clarity. And I'm hoping on this one that we could scratch that section 2, and we'll readdress it at a further amended resolution for this, or introduction for this.
Else?
Paul,
Thank you.
Paul, dog catcher, you want to fix it, everything, takes care of it, nothing, with the police have to do. What does the sheriff have to do with that?
Picking up animals?
Yes. Okay.
But the sheriff has the
I'm not
responsibility if
underst-
somebody calls a complaint to go and investigate it and write a summons or a citation, am I right? And that's the difference.
Right.
I'm like Mr. Patrick, I think we just ought to pass this ordinance and just put some amendments and we'll get together and put some amendments and clean up what we have. I know, my understanding, Morgan City's about to do it. And, I just spoke to the mayor Berg, he's looking at some stuff too, on his ordinance.
Thank,
Oh, I'm sorry, Reverend
Sorry,
Matthews?
Madam Chair, just a point of clarification. So, Mr. Hebert, are you suggesting that we not adopt the ordinance in its present form and try to rework it first? Or are you saying adopt it and then just amend it as we go, such as Mr. Adams said?
I think we could do either or. I think if we put something in place, at least you have something. The only concern I have is putting something in place and confusing the public, because we put something in place and then in a month, we make
Change it.
great changes, and they say, well, hold on, this is what I'm living by. And now, because I don't know if you read the document she submitted,
I tried.
but it goes into great detail, and it's very, very thorough.
It was a little confusing.
Well, you
but-
can't adopt hers, you'd have to introduce it.
Right.
We'd have to go through the process, but
I think it does lend a lot of thought and consideration that could be added
yeah.
to what we have.
And I'm okay with even adopting this, other than excluding section 2, amending it to remove section 2. Because section 2 gives almost anybody the right to get away with the same thing they get away with now.
We had the boat landing,
yes.
pull up and don't pay.
That's right. That's right.
So are you prepared to make that, well, when we get to that point. on
Yeah,
the
well,
agenda.
it's Mr. Adams, but I would be
Yeah, I don't have a problem with that.
prepared to amend that, remove that section 2, and I'd be prepared to support that.
We're gonna do that later in the agenda.
Because we have more people that want to speak on that. So, okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms.
Thank you
Oakley.
all.
Okay, C is Lester Wheeler and Maureen Joseph.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
State your name for the record, please.
Maureen Joseph.
Lester Wheeler.
Good evening. We were here about 2 weeks ago to talk about Avoca Island and to talk about the Singleton heirs. We have a couple of updates. We actually were able to obtain the list of arrests that go back to about 1999. I think we may have forwarded some, we may have forwarded some stuff to you all. So
yes.
there's been about 25, well now almost 27 years worth of impeding the Singleton heirs from enjoying their land. That's the probably best way I can say it. The other thing is that update good news is that a couple of the Singleton heirs also got on the ferry, got on a boat, and were able to board and get on the island. So that's good news.
That has been since your last appearance?
That's been on purpose. We went. We had some of the family members go to see if they can get on the ferry, etc. One of the complications is that, and some of the family members are here, when they tried to get there, the road now, because it's been, I guess, so long since they've really been able to get there, the public road has trees growing in it. It had a fence that was blocking entrance to the property. And then there also, it's almost like someone is using the Singleton heirs side to stage a construction site. And there's like a 10-foot mound of rocks and a fence So there is a lot that's happening on the island that the relatives are unaware of because they've really not been able to get on the island. And so then we were able to take some pictures and videos of some of the stuff of what this enclosed, kind of like I said, it looks like a construction staging site that's happening on the land. The family's not sure who's staging it, who's doing it, if it's something with the parish, something with some of the other owners on the island, or something with the Army Corps of Engineers. We're not sure of that, but we wanted to make sure that we updated that. Family members have been able to get on.
This sign on your property?
Yes, not by our making.
Levy District.
Tim just
The executive director just left.
Who just left?
Executive director of this levy district.
Okay.
He's retired.
We'll clarify that and find out why that sign is on your property.
Okay, because the family would like to, of course, as we said, enjoy the property. So we really appreciate you all making sure that the family was able to get on the ferry and that there was no problems with that. Family will be continuing to, I imagine, get on the island, continuing to do things on the island. Is there anything that I missed that's happening? There's trees, the fence, there was a fence, the fence seems like it's been removed.
No, the fence in the back.
The fence in the back is there with her, but there was also a fence where the no trespassing sign was. It looks like it just recently came down. So there was a fence across their land where they couldn't get on it and a no trespassing sign. When we went, it looks like the fence now has recently been removed.
Since
So
your
that's-
last appearance.
It looks like it's been recently removed, exactly. So all of this happening, like, we would like help to understand who, what's been going on the land. So whatever assistance you all can give us with that will be greatly appreciated.
Certainly. Madam Chair, if I might.
Happy?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a couple of things. One, I want to, I guess, go back and somewhat clarify in our conversation at the last meeting when you came and presented. We talked a lot about people being arrested and what have you, and even looking at the list that you brought for us tonight. A couple of us did have some conversations with Sheriff Driscoll the next morning after that meeting, and I want to thank him and his staff for researching to identify any potential arrest reports that might have occurred recently, and there were none. So I want to make sure that we're in agreement that there were no recent arrest reports of any of your family members trying to get onto that property. And when I say recent, I'm talking like within the last 24, 36 months.
And so I think that the deterrent is what you're seeing. So the family members, like I said, there are 2 family members here. What's happened is that the fact that family members had been arrested, the ferry was not allowing family members to get on. It's a deterrent to family members to even try to get on.
Okay.
It's like we can't get on our land because we try to get on the ferry, we can't get on the ferry, and people have been arrested. So then now the word in the family is almost like,
Don't
you
go there.
Don't go to your land because you're going to get in trouble for going on your land. And so this is coming up now because it's like, okay, y'all, this is a long time not to have access to this land. And so then that's why it's coming up now, that everybody's trying to get the clarity they need.
Yes, ma'am.
So that the family can continue. There are things they want to, there's a church, as you all know, that was there.
Yes,
There
ma'am.
was, so they really would like to get on the property so that they can clean it up,
Absolutely.
do things with it, enjoy it,
Yeah.
etc.
I mean, if you want to go sit and roll in the grass, whatever you want to do, that's your property. You have the right to do whatever you want to do with it.
Exactly. Can you do it
and
naked? Can you roll naked on your own?
Whatever
property?
you want to
I'm just
do.
saying.
I don't encourage that part. I don't want to see it.
joking.
But anyway, my point is, yes,
You
sir.
asked, was it anyone? Yes, we had family members just as recent as December that was stopped from going on the property.
Were they arrested?
They wasn't
They
arrested.
weren't arrested, but they were
was put
prevented
on.
from getting on.
They was put
Were
on.
they prevented from getting on the ferry to get
Yes.
there?
They was prevented from getting on the ferry. They couldn't get there, and when they tried to go through the boat, it was kicked off.
So they tried to approach the property in their own vessel, their
Yes.
own boat.
Yes.
And do you know who kicked them off once they got in the waterway? And
My cousin told me it was the sheriff department.
Okay, so our sheriff is sitting in the room, so he's hearing that,
Okay.
and I'm sure he's gonna investigate. You wanna come forward, Sheriff? I'm sorry, Madam Chair, I don't mean to,
You fine.
take that kind of liberty, but
Gary Driscoll, Sheriff St. Mary. There was an incident, throughout the years, we have received numerous complaints, trespassing, thefts, different things. When it got hot and heavy, I guess around 2013, I know the sheriff then was telling us, or telling the deputies that was on patrol then, it was a civil matter and they could refer them to the JP for charges because there was so much unknown.
Right.
What's property, whose property is whose. I know I used to go out there as a teenager. I knew some of the singletons. And now, I don't know what property you're talking about because Friday I went out there. And what I did, if you don't mind, I pulled up a map of the assessor's office. And it shows the singleton property, which is here and here. These two spots. And I have copies if y'all would like copies.
that would be wonderful. That's when y'all start interrupting the agenda and moving stuff around. All we needed was the clerk of court. Or we can really get a party started.
Okay. In that incident, and that you're talking about, what I was told, they're hunting this section, which is not singleton property.
Right here.
Now, what I understand, they pulled it up in the GPS. This is this property. Mhm.
Black right here.
Yeah. Either way, they was not arrested at all.
Remember they came and stopped them.
Now, according to our GPS, they was on this property. Everything that you see in blue is all Avoca LLC. Even the areas that's not marked, that's all Avoca LLC. They did used to have a road that went all the way to the property, went to their property. 'Cause like I said, as a young boy, I'd go out there. And I knew there was a house here at the very end of that road. I went out there Friday morning, and I did talk to the ferry. They said they don't stop anybody, according to them, because they said it's a private road, which is true. Now, right here is about where the road stops, and there's a road that turns in, and there's a gate right there, right up in this area. That
always went there all the way.
correct. You're absolutely right. But where,
So we can't travel to the.
correct, it was nothing but trees, like you're saying, and water. And I remember years ago, a lot of times this road would go under the water.
We couldn't go down there. I don't know like we made it.
Yeah, now I don't know who maintenance. That's not me. Okay?
Road maintenance is our department. That's what we're supposed to do.
Now,
And that was my next point. We're gonna address that next after y'all finish.
if you go to the Google map, you'll see a road.
Yeah.
You'll see a road that's going down, following the bayou, and then it turns to the right, and then you can barely see a road that goes straight. That's the road that was going to the Singleton property. And as a young man, I want to say they had houses up in this area, the church and everything else. All that now is considered Avoca LLC.
That's when we won in court, 2013.
That's part of 135 acres.
Okay, so
So
that's not updated
Avoca
in the
claimed
system.
that property.
But right now, according to the assessor's office, that's Avoca property. We looked all that up.
So did the assessor's office get that order from the judicial court? That, ma'am,
Because, all right, that road went all the way through. Yes, sir. I remember bringing fish, because I had Jerome Singleton, who I went to school with. That's the road down there. We can talk. But now, I can tell you this, my guys are saying there's something.
Rev, we're not picking it up.
And again,
If you want it picked up, it's up to you.
right.
Yeah, but we can only go to the assessor office, which is.
So they have just as much access and rights as you do. to be on that property.
This is where the road, you see how the road comes out? And it
Right.
comes- that's that little dip. And it comes out this way and it turns.
That's where the problem
out
is,
this
from what
way.
I understand.
So, or out here somewhere. So, we haven't had any complaints.
And that brings, Councilman Ina just whispered a very important point to me in a sidebar. How would the sheriff department know what to enforce if there's a judicial document that contradicts what's currently happening, but it's not, that communication has not been translated to the assessor's office to be properly reflected in those maps? I think she wants you to come to the mic,
Can the mic?
because that's the only way we can get it on
Put
record.
it on record, thank you.
And we definitely need what you're saying on record.
And I think what the concern is that how do we know that we have to prove co-ownership, but Avoca doesn't? You see what I'm saying? I think
Yeah,
it's like
and that's,
kinda
I
getting
think
to
that's
the
a matter
point
for the
where-
court.
Right. It's like, why is it we're having to do all of the proving
Right.
for 170 years if Avoca owns a piece of that? That was the 135. It only happened in the 2000s when they formed Southeast Quarters LLC to purchase some of that
Right.
from some of the co-owners. So I'm like, okay, now the historical owners are having to prove, but the newest potential co-owners don't have to prove, which feels really unfair.
I would have a concern with that as
In
well.
comparison, because they own a lot of the island. And
Right.
so then that is what seems to be the sticking point.
Yeah, well, I think y'all need to get this back on the judge's docket, perhaps, and try to get this thing rectified, because we can't expect the sheriff department to enforce something that he doesn't have clear orders on.
Okay.
And so it does become convoluted, and I stand 100% on the fact that in the United States of America, a person has the right to access their property, and I do not support powers, political and business powers, powerful people with a lot of money just seizing property from people because they think they can. I'm not saying that's what happened, but if that is what was happening, this is the place for it to stop.
We agree.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just thinking to myself, this is a very convoluted situation, but I'm thinking about the sheriff's department. If one entity says, I don't want anybody, a co-owner says, I don't want anybody on the property, and then the family says you can have access to the property, I'm just trying to figure out, how do you restrict that? Let's say the Singleton family says, I give Rodney I'd like for him to go to the property. And then there's another co-owner that says, no trespassing. I don't know how, I'm trying to figure out how we.
It's not possible. Rodney can't say that. You can't bar, because it has to be a collective decision of the co-owners.
Right.
So not a co-owner can make a decision about the other co-owners.
But then I'm thinking about, how does the sheriff enforce who, so anybody could go on the land?
If the sheriff can't prove they shouldn't be on the land, how could he kick them off the land?
Gotcha.
So in that
It's
sense,
go by the assessor's office, and the assessor's office does not show the signatures on that property. Like I said, as a young man, that road went all the way back to the signature property. Now, the property that she's talking about, I remember I was in the church being on that property when I was a teenager. Since then, that's all been gone. And the last thing we was told that, I think it was 2013, the court has made its decision, and the only property that we was told was the signatures is what you see on that picture.
how big, I'm not a map person, how big is this area you're referring to?
I know from the new road where it cuts off to the end is about 900 yards. And that's one little section, that's the other section that the social office is saying.
And there are
You cannot get to their property on that road. The only way you can get to their property is by while you would be trespassing on the property before you can the assessors.
but the judgment clearly that we gave y'all says 135 acres. It's not 900 yards of Singleton Air property. It's 135 yards.
From where the
Where
road
it is.
stops to where the signature
Right. That's exactly, that's what I'm saying. So then that is probably, we have the original map. We know which quarters it is. We know, how we have the information. We have the sections, we have what sections and subsections there are, and it's 135 of them. It is not 900 yards.
And it's very, I'm saying 900 yards from where the road cuts off to where
Gotcha.
this was, where the single
Gotcha.
property is. Yes, sir.
Gotcha.
Madam Chair,
How much?
I- I don't think this is anything that the council can solve here tonight. This sounds to me like this is more of a civil matter. Now, what we can address is the road, the parish road to get to the property. We can address that, but everything else that you're talking about, there's not a whole lot, I don't think that this council can do. It's a civil matter. Y'all have to take it up with the courts. I mean, I feel for y'all, I really do, but I mean, it's just, there's not anything we can do except address the road conditions.
For the longest time, it wasn't arresting anybody, we just didn't see what's past. You see a lot of our complaints, it says it's a civil matter. Like, it's, we get those properties, because they work for the
Right.
who belongs to what property.
Yeah, I mean, we could sit here for the next hour discussing who it belongs to, but like I said, we can't do anything.
So
about
let's
that.
transition to the road. Thank you. That's a great segue.
Right.
Let's go to
We
the
came
road.
here
So-
about denial, access. That's our conversation.
Right.
We are fully aware that you all cannot settle ownership. Ownership has actually already been settled in 2013. And so now it's just a matter of getting the council's office, because the Singletons
Correct.
are paying taxes on more than 98 yards or something.
Correct.
So they're paying taxes on something. It clearly states more than that amount. And so then that's stuff that we can take up there. We were having the conversation, we came here because of access. Because
Correct.
family members were not being able to get on the ferry or being able to access their property by boat. And that's the request we made. That's what the request is about.
Yes, and so to somewhat disagree with Councilman Orlando, you do have a place here, and there is a pertinent discussion for this council, and that is the fact that, number one, you have clearly given us indication that until a few days ago, or week or so ago, family members were not able to access the public vessel that this parish government furnishes for people to get to and from that island. That's problem number one. Sounds like some attention has been called to that, and that issue is going to self-rectify. Wonderful. If it doesn't happen again, I'm satisfied. Number two, there is a public roadway on that island, and far be it from me to presume that this parish government or any parish government, any local, state, or federal government would provide a roadway access for limited people to access their property, and others cannot. So that's a problem that this body has to address. Since we furnish the roadway and it gives right-of-way access to the owners of land on that island, then we have to find a way to make sure that that road provides access to everybody who owns property on that island. That's what we need to be talking about. And I mean, if you need witnesses to come with you to court and talk about that, I'll show up. You have my word on that. But as far as what the responsibility of this local government is, let's see how we can fix that problem.
Thank you.
And I want you to leave tonight with an answer. So I'm going to point to the administration.
I'm kind of, new to this whole thing, and from my understanding, and Gary actually helped tell me what was going on out there, that there was a road, but there's no more road. It stops, and then it
used to go straight, it turns to the right after it turns to the right.
that's private property where it goes. Yeah, so there is no road there anymore. Now,
Just like you said, there's no more trees and stuff.
yeah, I'd have to do some research and see exactly what happened to the road. Why? I'm sorry?
Stop working the road. When they stopped letting us access the road just grew up. So we can't get down the road no more because there's trees and saplings grew up everywhere.
I don't think we would just have abandoned the road without cause at the time. So I'm gonna have to do a little research and talk to the people who are here before me and, who know more about the island to see. How far is it from where it's overgrown to where your property, is it I'm sorry? Is it a mile, 2 miles, 10 miles? What is?
Where the curve starts, that's where it stops.
On this map right here,
So how much further?
From where the road turned off.
somewhere in this curve.
To the assessor's property is about 900 yards.
Oh,
To where they're saying their property, or assessors saying their property. Yeah, 'cause
That's just the road up.
yeah, that's from about right here.
That was already one long time.
So that's not even the issue.
Yeah, you can't.
Okay.
Can we ask a question? Because we know y'all have lots of other business that you all need to handle and manage as well. Do we need to have a meeting with Public Works? What are the next steps we need to do so that we can get the
Let our
access
chief
that we need?
administrator
yeah,
answer
I'm
that
gonna need
question.
to do some research to see exactly what we're talking about and get with my Public Works Director who's been here for a while and see what he knows about the situation and maybe talk to our previous administrators to see why it is how it is today.
Can we give them some reasonable expectation of a timeline as to when we can get back to them? Or maybe they can contact your office
Yeah,
to get some update?
Yeah, give me a couple weeks to deal, so that I can contact some people.
Is there is there a right of way that the parish would have for that road, I'm
I
wondering?
don't know.
There's a road down there.
From what I've seen, there used to be a road there, because I was raised on the boat. And if the landowner never took the property back, or we never gave it back to him, and if it was a public road, it's still a public road. Yeah, but if it's not in the books where that the parish gave it back to him, to the other landowner, whatever landowner, it still belongs to the parish.
I was a deputy sheriff way back then and rode down there a couple of times and talked to the man, the older guy, had a good conversation. As I recall, the road was not hard surface, it was shell and stuff like that. What I wanted to ask, is that all in St. Mary Parish, or is it some in the next parish? It's all in St. Mary?
So where your property is, it is St. Mary Parish?
Yes, Avoca is St. Mary's. None of it's I think when it was first started, the lines of the parish were different. And so now it's all St. Mary's, but it used to be, I think, Terrebonne many years ago before the parish lines were redrawn.
The only other problem I think that nobody's brought up is who paid the when you pay your taxes every year. Did someone pay the taxes? And if not, did someone else go and pay the taxes and bought it at a tax sale? All
No,
those
taxes
things-
are paid in current.
They are paid in
One of the Singleton heirs pays the taxes every year on the property.
I think you're good. Then. I don't see any reason why it shouldn't be your property.
Mr. Jordan, did you say y'all getting to your property by boat right now?
And nobody stops you from going on the property by boat, right?
Somebody stopped it in December. I think the guy named Mark.
Or a parish worker, or was he somebody that works for Avoca? Who do they think they are?
Okay, well, Mr.
That's some bull crap
Mr.
right there.
Paul will do some digging for y'all and get back with you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
Maybe y'all can set an appointment, to come and sit and talk with him, and we'll take it from there. We'll
Okay.
try to
By
get
all
that-
means, please stay in contact with me.
We
Yes.
will. Thank you.
Okay, thank y'all very much.
For what it's worth, I deeply apologize that y'all are experiencing this. It's a shame and a disgrace.
Thank you, Sheriff. Okay, item 6D, Hope Jones with Mary Bird Perkins Center. Oh, there she comes.
Good evening, how are you?
State your name for the record, please.
Yes, my name is Hope Jones. I'm with the Marybeth Perkins Cancer Center. I'm the bi-regional manager here. And I just want to briefly talk to you and let you know we're going to be back in your community next Thursday, March 19th. I have a cancer screening that we're going to do at Raintree Market. And we're going to do breast, skin, prostate, and take-home colorectal kits from the hours of 9 to 2. And I encourage all the community of St. Mary to come out and take advantage of the free services that we provide. Thursday, March 19th. And I do have some flyers if I may.
Wonderful, yes.
That would be great.
Do I give them?
Yes, so take them and pass it.
Thank you.
That's going to be in partnership with Marybeth Perkins Cancer Center, the 100 Block Men of St. Mary. I've been with Marybeth Perkins since 2013, and so this is one of the parishes that I do cover. So it's nice to partner with the local communities to see what we can do to provide these services, much needed services rather, for the community.
Madam Chair, just Ms. Hope, could you clarify
Yes,
the test for who? Is that a particular demographic that the test is for? Is that for anybody?
Male, female. I'm sorry, male or female. For breast, starting clinical breast exams 18 to 21, mammogram age 40 and above, prostate 45 to 75, or maybe older, depending on what is recommended by your doctor. Take-home colorectal kits start at 45, and skin is anywhere from 18 on up.
The colon and prostate screenings, are y'all gonna be doing blood work or actual exams? How does that work?
For the colon, it's a take-home kit. It detects blood in the stool, so that's something you can do at home and mail it off. And for prostate, we do a two-part. We do PSA blood work, and we do the digital rectal exam. So we have patient navigators, and we have our nurse practitioner follows us wherever we go in the community. So right now, as the Marybeth, we cover over 40 parishes in the state and 4 counties in Mississippi. So I not only cover this parish, but I actually drive the mobile. So I'm in the area in St. Mary 3 times out of the year.
Location is at Raintree Market. It's in the parking lot of
Yes.
Raintree Market.
And for this particular screening, we're going to do all our screenings, but we're also going to make it as a health fair and resource fair. So we will have some vendors there too. And I have the list of the vendors. I'm sorry, who's going to be there for that day. I have Tesh Health that's going to come and do blood pressure that day. Positive Transformations Health Services. I think they're going to provide some mental health information. And LSU Ag, it's going to be there for healthy foods, healthy living, and I'm going to have Edna's going to be a part, along with the 100 Block Men. They will have a table as well. So we're going to provide those resources there.
Thank you, ma'am.
So all the services are free, so I encourage anybody in the community to come. They're more than welcome to come. We're going to be there from 9 to 2. So in the morning, the times are from 9 to 11. We break from 11 to 12, and we start back up at 12. So I appreciate Ms. Compton's letting us take over her parking lot for a little while just to bring the services to the community.
I have a question for her.
Hebert?
I see here on here,
Yes, sir.
if you have insurance, are you liable for your deductibles?
No, sir.
Okay.
We deal with no money.
You
at
just
the
file the
site.
insurance. If it covers it, great. If not, then you still cover.
For breast, our partners, Women's Hospital, they're going to be there to do the mammogram. So they handle insurance just for breast, if that's something that you have. But if you are mammogram age, and I mean 40 and above, you don't have insurance, it's a free service to you. But prostate, skin, and colorectal, your insurance does not come into play. So we will see the screening, do the screenings. Skin is just a visual examination. You can sign up for that. The take-home colorectal kit, you can sign up for that. And the prostate, your insurance does not come into play. If you do have insurance, and if there's a follow-up, there's an abnormal finding, then and only then will your insurance play a factor. But if you do not have insurance, and if there is an abnormal finding, we have patient navigators that's going to be there to follow up with you to help you find a doctor or help you make that appointment for you if you don't have a physician.
Gotcha. One other question.
Sure.
Does the results tie into like my chart app for Oshner's?
I get that question a lot of times. No, sir, it's not.
Okay.
But we
That's a
do
cool
have
little app.
patient navigators that are there. So if it's any abnormal findings, they follow up with you till diagnosis or resolution, and they help you every step of the way if you need some help.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hope. Yeah, I just, last thing, Ms., I want to commend you because she's very, very active. Mary Berry Perkins is very active. They come there all the time, and I know you've had some detections over the
Yes, sir.
over them, and so this is to save lives. We're trying to make sure that the community is healthy and everybody takes it. Don't have too much pride to come and get yourself checked out. That's all I can say.
Absolutely.
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a good evening.
Item 7, public comments. At this time, we have Caitlin Rock.
My name's Caitlin Rock. I'm here to talk about item 13B, the specific use permit for us to own hens and a rooster. At last month's meeting, Tina Rainey, our neighbor, she had came here and complained about our chickens. And at that meeting, she was asked 3 times if she had received her certified letter in the mail that we had to send out. And she said no. She did receive it. Y'all have that letter, and it says rejected on it. So I was under the impression that we were already approved for the permit. So on January 14th, the January meeting, it was approved and would go into effect in 40 days. So I'm not understanding, why we are still having to go through this. I thought approved means approved. It's done,
It was approved by planning and zoning, but it has to come before the council for final approval. Y'all will probably approve at planning and zoning, correct?
Well, the meeting that y'all held on January 14th, it was approved. Oh. Well, I got the email saying approved.
It was up for
Yeah.
introduction, and then we have to wait.
And then I believe
Tonight is actually up for a final approval.
one of the
Okay.
council members tabled it, so that extended the time of it
Okay.
getting approved. That's correct.
So, we also believe that really has nothing to do with us owning chickens. It's a lot more personal than that with Miss Rainey. Do you want to talk about the cop incident? Julie Rock.
Yep.
And are you Brian? Okay.
Yes.
We will have,
State your name for the record.
Julie
please.
Rock. For my birthday, we were having a small fire in the backyard, a wood burning fire. The police showed up because it states that Tina called stating her neighbor directly behind her was burning trash. The resultant smoke is causing her eyes to burn. The officer spoke with Brian Rock, got his phone number, and his wife. They were having a small wood fire burning in a small contained fire pit. The smoke was not overwhelming. No trash was being burned. The officer also spoke with Tina again, who complained the rocks had chicken and the smoke was causing her trouble breathing. Tina smelled strongly like cigarettes. Tina was referred to the parish government regarding the rocks chicken after she was informed the rocks were, within parish ordinance guidelines for burning. And then, the day after, my husband was at the fence. He was outside visiting with someone. I don't know who. And he overheard her say, "I'm about to go in and call again on the rocks because they are disturbing my peace," because he was pressure washing at 3:30 in the afternoon. So I guess she decided not to call.
But we just keep hearing threats over the fence for like media stuff that just crazy. So basically, she's calling the police on us for trivial matters. That has nothing to do with us owning chickens. In my opinion and how we feel is that we're being harassed now, and we can't handle it anymore. Yeah, and based off of the last meeting, how she said that her friends were watching my Facebook page, that's concerning. That's stalking.
Well, at this time, this would become a civil matter, so we can't, with troubles with the neighbors or whatever, that's not us, you all would have to do a civil matter with that. But the chicken, the specific use, whatever you applying for, that's what we can handle tonight for you. So, anybody has any questions for them for that at this time? I mean, want to say anything about that?
Sorry, let me check my notes. I wrote everything down. Oh, so yeah, also we had a conversation with her brother at our shared fence. So I know for a fact that Miss Rainey knew about the meeting. She was aware of it, and she lied at the last one and said she never got the letter, she wasn't notified. She was. So her brother, we asked him, was your sister the one that called and complained about our chickens? He said, no, I talked to her. She said that your chickens don't bother her. She just couldn't handle all that smoke. So that's who ratted her out for calling the cops. We would have never known that if we didn't have this conversation with him. And then after that, I asked about the certified letter. He said, oh yeah, she rejected it because she said she doesn't want anything to do with your family. So she made that decision not to come and protest when we went to the meeting.
Okay, if we need to ask you a question later, we'll ask you. Is there anything else y'all want to, about the chickens? Okay, not the
Do you
neighbors,
want
we're gonna do the chickens.
I made a copy of the letter that I was sent saying that it was approved, so I don't know if y'all want to keep that.
Yeah, let me
for,
see that, please. Thank you.
I mean, Mandy.
Okay, Julie Rock. Okay, at the last meeting, she had brought up that our yard drains into her yard, so she was scared to plant a tomato garden in case our chickens have diseases. First off, our chickens aren't from Tractor Supply. These are very high-dollar chickens. And second, my yard does not drain in any sort of way into her yard. Anyone is welcome to come to my home any day, anytime, and check. You can also check our coop. Our coop is cleaned daily, every day. Every morning I rake it, every night I rake it, where they sleep in their enclosed home. And then 3 times a week, we refresh the bedding in their run, which is all enclosed in. Now, she was referring to the smell, that it was smelling like poop. Well, my husband brought home this big work project he's working on, so over half of our yard was blocked up, so my dogs have been using it by the back fence. When I noticed that, I went and bought a pooper scooper. I picked that up. That is the smell she was referring to, because I guarantee you, 1,000%, if you come to my home, you will not know that we have chickens.
So the smell was not coming from the chickens?
No, it was coming from the dogs. which
It
I've
sounds to me
taken
like
care
y'all
of.
going above and beyond.
Sir,
Now-
we have paid over $600 to do everything legal we had to do to apply for this specific use. And that way, nobody else has to go through what we're going through, because I guarantee you at least 60% of Bayou Vista residents already own chickens. Maybe not 60, but 50.
There is a lot of people in Bayou Vista that are.
And also 2 more things. They go to bed at roughly 5:45 to 6 o'clock every night. Every night. Not a minute past 6. They do not wake up until 7 o'clock, maybe 7:15, when I wake them up. And then they can see that the sun is up. So they do not make noise.
At the last meeting, I mean, I hate to bring this up. I don't want anybody to take it the wrong way, but
Okay.
I thought she had mentioned something about a garden. Couldn't
Yeah,
grow
she
a garden or
didn't
something,
wanna
but it
So-
seems to me if y'all would offer some of y'all droppings, that would help with her garden.
Well, okay, I was gonna bring that up. So she moved in to the house about, I think, 4 years ago now. So she hasn't had a garden since she's lived in that house. 4 years. So 3 days after the meeting she came to and said that she was scared to plant her tomatoes, she hired somebody to set up a garden, which is the first time that she's had one since she's lived there.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
at this time, if you have someone else that want to speak on this, let them speak, and I think we should move this item up so we can go ahead and get this one out of the way.
Definitely have one more, and I don't know what the mayor wants to speak about. Oh, okay.
I could say something about the cat too that she has that jumps on our fence, that comes in our yard, craps in our yard.
Yeah, we'll.
Okay.
You know,
That's a
it stares at my chicken
that's
and
a
makes my
different
rooster
subject.
crow because this cat is standing up.
Madam Chair, did you
Gotcha.
see the
Yes,
letter
sir.
that she sent? Did you?
I was reading
Okay.
it when I was reading it and Gwen ran away, so sorry.
So,
Very confusing.
Thank you all for your time.
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
okay, so definitely, the letter you received it said that the approval, like, it was approved, but the ordinance was still gonna be introduced, and then she did explain the 40-day layover. What she did not know is that at the next meeting, the council member was gonna table it. And so that tacked on like another 2 weeks to it. Yeah, so your actual, what was referred from the planning and zoning was approved, but later on in our meeting, we have to introduce an ordinance. So that part is approved, but it's contingent on the ordinance. And then the ordinance has to go through its process, and then they vote on it. So that's why, but
So, Madam Chair,
Yes, sir.
would it be safe to presume that one of two things, either the letter was premature or the verbiage did not clearly explain all of those steps?
I think it's a verbiage issue more than.
So maybe we could work on that so that in the future it won't, if something like this happens, it won't, where it's delayed, it won't be so confusing.
I think it's just confusing as to the entirety of the process, and the
Yeah,
letter
the
doesn't
process is
outline
very
the process.
confusing.
Miss LeBlanc does have specific use request as reference, and then she goes on to say that an ordinance is introduced pertaining to this reference property. So I think it's the request versus the actual ordinance that's gonna be the bulk of it.
Maybe even just putting in some verbiage into the next phase of final approval, or something along that line would be appropriate for Mandy to kind of outline it a little better for the public when they have these specific use requests.
We can never predict what's gonna happen in one of these proceedings.
Correct.
Property.
Other one.
But
Anybody
I
else
think
wanna
he
talk
wants
about
to
this?
get the roosters out the way.
Yeah.
Okay.
Miss Tina Rainey.
Thank you.
First of all, my name is Tina Rainey. I live directly behind the rocks. First of all, I want to address the comment you made about the letter, the certified letter she sent me. I did not lie to this council the last time I was here, and I wish I would go back and look at the records. Y'all asked me a specific question if I received any letters from you guys. You asked me if I received a letter from the council, and I hadn't, about chickens. That's what I actually thought y'all meant. I didn't know y'all were talking about her. But it's always problems. They're always in their backyard yakking. Actually, I have a radio outside. I turn it up because I don't want to hear it. Enough of that. If I could please read this letter.
Ma'am?
Dear council members, I am writing to formally express my concern regarding the presence of roosters, specifically, and chickens being kept at the property behind my home.
despite the existing statute prohibiting such livestock within residential neighborhoods. While I respect individuals' interest in raising animals, laws are put in place to protect the rights, health, and well-being of the broader community. In this case, the ongoing violation of the ordinance has created several serious issues that negatively impact my household and the surrounding neighborhood. First and foremost, roosters are widely known for their loud and frequent crowing, often beginning before sunrise and continuing throughout the day. This excessive noise disrupts sleep, interferes with work from home responsibilities, and diminishes the overall peace and quiet that residents reasonably expect in a residential area. Unlike occasional neighborhood sounds, rooster crowing is repetitive and unavoidable. Additionally, chickens and roosters can produce strong odors, particularly with coops when they're not meticulously maintained. As a result, the smell of accumulated waste can quickly spread beyond property lines, especially during warmer months. This not only creates discomfort, but may also attract pests such as rodents, flies, and other insects, posing potential health risks. Another concern is property value. Many families choose residential neighborhoods specifically because livestock is prohibited. When statutes are ignored, it can deter potential buyers and negatively affect property values for compliant homeowners. Most importantly, the existence of a statute clearly indicates that the local government has already determined that such animals are incompatible with this zoning designation. Allowing one resident to disregard the law undermines the integrity of our community standards and creates unfairness for those of us who follow the rules. I respectfully request that this matter be viewed and that the appropriate steps be taken to enforce the existing ordinance. My goal is not to cause conflict with my neighbor, but rather restoration of the peaceful and lawful environment that our community is meant to uphold. Thank you for your attention in this matter. And if I just might add, my boyfriend recently redone my garden. I have been dealing with stage 3 lymphoma for the past 3 years. I just went yesterday and got my port flushed. That's why I haven't been in my backyard. My father passed away in 2022, and I bought his home, which was my childhood home. So I am very familiar with this property. I was born and raised that used to be 9 Venus before they redid the 911, redid all the addresses. So those are just my concerns. All that other stuff they say is just convoluted. I don't know what they're talking about. Power washing, all that. I have no clue.
Anybody else have any questions? Thank you, Ms. Rainey. Does anybody else? Yeah, we're gonna move the item up. I don't even have a
13B.
13B.
I have it. Okay.
Back. So can you read 13B into the record?
Yes. 13B is an ordinance in compliance with ordinance number 1973, Divisions 5.4, General Procedures for Public Hearings, Sections 5.4.3, Specific Use Permits granting a specific use for Brian Rock. Mr. Orlando, what's your wishes?
God, so move.
Okay, moved by Mr. Olander. Second, by Mr. Hill. Sorry, I was in another phase when Gwen switched seats with me. Any other discussion? Yes,
Yeah,
Mr. Hebert?
I do. I see this amendment to the ordinance. Are we voting on the original or are we voting on with the amendment?
I had Miss Lisa produce that for you all because I was working under the assumption from our last meeting of whether or not y'all wanted to approve it for chickens and roosters or just for chickens without the rooster, because we did have that discussion. So that amended version is there just for your reference for the council to decide which version you want to go with. It's not a suggestion, it's just in preparation for a potential that we discussed at last meeting.
So the motion is for which one?
I believe the motion is as is for chickens and a rooster.
Chickens and roosters.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move at this time that we move to the amended ordinance
So we're gonna
to
change your
allow
motion
chicken,
to allow the amendment.
to allow the amended ordinance. Chickens only, correct.
Okay. And I have a second, the sustained second by Mr. Hill. Any other discussions?
I would like to ask, the folks, the Rocks who submitted this, maybe they could give their input on that, because I think they were unaware of this. I would assume they were. But at least, give them a chance to express their concern.
Sure.
Okay, Caitlin Rock. So I was not made aware that that was even a possibility that it would be changed. Because my specific use permit is for hens and a rooster. I mean, I wouldn't be asking for it specifically worded that way if I didn't want to keep my rooster, you know?
For one rooster?
Yes, I wanted to speak on that too because she said she's listening to Roosters Pro. I have one rooster. I have 5 hens. That's not an overwhelming amount of chickens to have. It's 6 of them.
No, ma'am, thank you, Lisa.
Yes, ma'am. So that's what I forgot to mention. So I actually did send an email to Shanna. I took videos of the inside of my coop and had sent that to her. And she said she wasn't sure or not if we were able to play those here.
Okay.
Yeah, she was supposed to let me know earlier, but I guess she didn't
Okay.
get that information.
We could take your word for it. You have.
Well, because I wanted to prove in the video, you know, that I only have 6 chickens, that there's no flies in my coop. I mean,
Gotcha.
and I do not agree with the amended version at all. I mean, I applied for something specifically.
Gotcha.
Okay, Julie Rock.
Yes, ma'am.
I just would like to add, the reason we paid all this money to keep the chickens and a rooster is because we need the rooster. The license is for our business, how we provide for our family. We have a pepper jelly business. We sell pickled eggs. We use eggs in recipes. We need him to be able to do what he has to do so we can profit off of it.
Madam Chair, once again, I'd like to change the motion to go back to the original ordinance. I want to withdraw the amended ordinance in light of this information that it's only one rooster. So I'd like to withdraw the amended motion for the ordinance and revert back to the original ordinance. I want to move on the original ordinance, allowing chickens and a rooster.
So you want to amend it to not say roosters, but.
Well, I want to withdraw the amended motion and go back to the original motion of
Okay.
chickens and a rooster.
Okay, so we're withdrawing the amended motion, which
Correct.
puts the original motion back on the table.
Correct.
Correct.
And the second on that was Mr. Hill also. And he will withdraw his second of the amended motion. So
Right.
the original motion for adoption of the ordinance with a rooster and hens is on the table.
Correct.
Any other? As it was recommended from planning and zoning.
Correct. Thank you.
Any other discussions, questions?
Was anyone else opposed to this in the neighborhood?
No, we had no other
I'm
neighbors.
asking her what the
Mandy.
meeting. Ms. Mandy. Did you get any other opposition to this? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Yeah, do y'all have any other questions?
No.
Ms. Lisa, roll call vote.
Thank you. This is on item 13B. Mr. Ina.
Yes.
Mr. Olander.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rolfe, he's absent. Mr. Hebert.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Duhon.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Adams.
No, ma'am.
Dr. Rink.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Hidalgo.
No, ma'am.
And Reverend Matthews.
Yes, ma'am.
We have 8 yeas, 2 nays and 1 absent, and the ordinance carries.
Give them all their numbers of order for that.
I'm sorry, we're back on public comments. So I have Rena Dupree listed next. I'm sorry, y'all making me skip around over here. We got to get back on track.
Do you need?
No, you're good.
Okay,
Just
all
state
right.
your name for the record.
Renee Dupre.
Renee. Okay. Sorry.
And I don't know the correct way to say what I'm up here about, but it's about
Rezoning.
It's item,
yes, it's
Yeah, it's for the rezoning of the
Yes,
property
yeah,
on
it's
Highway 182.
9AE.
Yes.
9AE.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Renee Dupre, and I am a lender with Assurance Financial. There's no way that's me.
No. You got 5 seconds this time. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a lender with Assurance Financial, and I specialize in manufactured home lending. And my client is Courtney Payton, and she is trying to purchase this property, 10906 Highway 182. And she would like to put a brand new manufactured home on the property. Now, she went to the planning and commission meeting and she was denied. And I would like for you guys to reconsider, and I would like to give some information on why I would like for you to reconsider. Am I free to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So first off, I think that the reason she was denied is because of preconceived stigmatism whenever it comes to manufactured homes. So what everybody thinks of whenever they hear the word manufactured home, they think of an old school mobile home, which is what I grew up in. The floor is falling apart. It's not anything that anybody wants to live in. That is called a mobile home, and that is anything that was built before June 14th, 1976. The reason why that is called a mobile home and now we have manufactured homes is because manufactured homes have to adhere to the federal guidelines. Now, the reason we know that they adhere to these guidelines is because you actually receive what's called a data plate and a HUD tag. And this is actually from the factory. You receive this once the home is completed. That means check it has adhered to the federal guidelines. Then once the home is placed on the property, it has to then adhere to the local authority, which would be the parish authority. So that's any restriction that the parish has, that any other site-built home has, if it's elevation, if it's any of the restrictions we've been hearing about tonight, anything like that, that's going to have to adhere to that. Then Ms. Courtney has actually chose to proceed with an FHA loan, which means that her home actually has to adhere to FHA HUD guidelines. Now that means that a manufactured home has to adhere to 3 different authorities for them to be able to be set up. I would also like to add, once this home is completed, it is considered a single family residence, which is this property, that is what it is zoned for, is a single family residence. So what happens is once they deliver the home, they remove the axle, the tongue, the wheels, they remove all of that, they immobilize the home to the property, and it is considered real property. Also would like to add, once this home is completed, it will have a full cement slab underneath the home. It will have a full cement driveway once it's completed. Before you even start construction, the home has to go through site-built restrictions, which means that the pad itself has to be pre-treated for termite. It has to adhere to 3 different FHA approved engineer inspections. That means it is a pre-pour. So before we even get out there, he has to do an engineer diagram, which shows where the pillars have to be to support the home's weight, the slab's weight. Once they pour the cement, then the engineer has to go out again. He has to verify that the cement and the slab has adhered to his specifications. Then once the home is 100% complete, then we will go and he'll do what's called a final inspection. So he's making sure the water's on, the sewer's on, anything like that. I would like to add, our FHA inspector is very tedious. He will not pass a property if there's ruts in the yard, if there's trash in the yard. We have never failed an inspection, but he has said,
get your guys back out there and go clean up the property. There's trash out there. So he is very tedious whenever it comes to that. I also would like to point out our skirting. This is, again, it's not vinyl skirting like you remember. This is metal skirting that has tracks, and it is cracked whenever it comes to tie downs. It's also they actually take the skirting and they drill in the cement to make sure that it's hurricane proof as well. So again, this is not what you think of when you think of mobile home. This is not it. This is a manufactured home. I also would like to point out that another thing that was brought up in the last meeting was that the client could just approve for a modular home. I would like to show you, this is actually the home that Miss Courtney is getting. It's a brand new double wide home. This is a modular home. I know it's kind of hard to see. I didn't know I could provide things for you guys. I'm sorry, I should have did that. The difference in this home, they are built in the same factory. The difference is the pitch of the roof. Now, if you were to go and price out, again, they're made in the same exact factory. It's because they are slapped with a different HUD tag, and they actually have the same HUD tag and everything. It's a different HUD tag for a modular home. Can I please? I'm almost done. Okay. And once they are done with the modular home, it's an extra $20,000 per single wide. It is not cost efficient. I work with multiple dealers. I work with several Clayton home dealers. I work with over 17 dealers just in Louisiana. A lot of them have pulled out of doing modular homes. I've done one loan for a modular home this past 2025. I've done over 100 loans for 2025. They were all manufactured homes. There's a reason people are pulling out of modular homes. Okay, I also would like to talk about depreciation, because that was another thing that was brought up, the reason why they did not want to pass and allow this property to be zoned for single family residence, even though this is a single family residence, was depreciation. Depreciation comes into play whenever, let's just be honest, you don't take care of your property. Okay, so this home that Miss Courtney is going to be purchasing comes right off the lot with a 7-year warranty. So that already, if she's got issues with shutters, if she's got issues with her siding, anything like that, that is already covered. That's something that she doesn't even have to worry about. What we would be looking at whenever it comes to depreciation is if my client is not able to take care of her property because of any preconceived convictions when it comes to just pride of home ownership. If you're going to say that this brand new home that is governed to 3 different authorities, that has several different inspections, it has a beautiful cement slab, it is hurricane proof, it is wind zone proof, if you're going to say that that is going to cause depreciation in the neighborhood, couldn't we drive down the street and say, well, this one doesn't pressure wash their house every year, this one has the shutters falling off? That is depreciation. So I urge you, that was my closing statement, I urge you to reconsider, because it really is a shame for my client to not be able to provide for her family and have new home ownership and an affordability that she can handle, because of preconceived convictions of, like we said, the old school mobile home.
Can I see a picture that you showed us a while ago?
Of her
the two
house?
homes? Yeah.
Yeah.
The one she ordered. What size is it?
Asked the builder. It's a 32 by 80 home.
What is the
So
pitch of the roof?
that's the one that's brought in 2 halves and is put together?
It is, yes, sir.
Correct.
The modular is the one that's going to have the higher pitch of the roof. That's the one on the bottom.
So you
I'm
said,
not sure the pitch of the modular.
said you explained all of this to the planning and zoning board?
We did not. My client did not realize that she was going to need to go through all of this. I was not.
Which
That's
one is she
unfortunate.
wanting? The one at the top.
Actually, it doesn't look like that much difference in the pitch.
There's not. It's yeah, it's not cost
Mandy,
efficient.
can we get you up real quick? Were there a lot of folks there that were against?
Just the budding neighbor.
Just one neighbor?
Andy, what was the concern, if you can recall, that they didn't want?
He said that he would like the zoning to stay the same, and he also did say something about, he was worried about the depreciation of property value.
But what's the current zone? I'm sorry. What's
It's
the-
zoned single-family residential, which
Is that
does not
EN
allow
too?
for, single-family residential does not allow for manufactured housing, only EN2
Oh, so it's not EN two.
No, sir, it is single family.
Explain why single-family residence is not covered in manufactured home, even though it's considered real estate with single-family residence, just from my knowledge.
That's a good question.
That'd be a
I don't
question for you, Amanda.
Well,
That's a
know.
UDC
I'm
question.
sure it's
right?
you on the spot. Guidance.
it's actually not a UDC question. It would be a question for South Central Planning to explain the differences in the building construction. So they go by HUD standards for manufactured homes, and the IBC is for stick-built houses. So they are constructed differently. I'm sure there's different size studs, walls. I mean, I don't want to get into it. I'm none of you. So I would like their advice on this before I answer that. I just know they're not allowed in the current zone.
But at the end of the day, this is gonna be a brand-new house that they're gonna get.
And it will adhere to the local restrictions when it comes to the site built home has to adhere to. You're not gonna have site built regulations that say you have to use a 2x6 in every wall. You know, that's up to the builder. So it is going to adhere to the local authority.
I'm fine with that. I could see if they were trying to bring in a trailer that had been, that's 15 years old that they wanted to put there, but this is a brand-new house.
She's gonna have wooden steps with railings that are 6 inches between each spindle. This is an FHA HUD approved home.
Andy, when I'm standing on the highway looking at the property, is it the neighbor on the left or the right?
If you're looking at the property, it's the neighbor to the left.
To the left.
What part of, where is this at? In Franklin?
So the house,
Right
the
before
house
the
to the
Hanson
left
Canal.
It's right before the
is
barn.
also a home off the ground, elevated.
Is it before?
I'm
like the-
probably, I mean, it's.
It's before the
flood zone.
Hanson Canal on the bayou side.
Well,
Is
the-
that
when
flood
all the
zone?
homes was built?
Is it in the flood zone?
Well, see, I know sometimes certain people buy a big block of property, like several owners, and they put restrictions in they put them for specific reasons. I know it happened on Bayou Teche across the road, had a bunch of homes built, and they put restrictions of what size home could be built. I know they did it in part of Berwick on Old Spanish Trail. They bought lots of property, they put restrictions, what size house could be built, and all that, and even like construction of it.
Is that what happened here?
That might have happened here. I don't know.
And
On that,
if
we
I-
have done a title search of the property and there are no restrictions.
Okay, so there is a difference between deed restrictions and our zoning restrictions.
So what are the zoning restrictions other
It's-
than,
So it's single-family residential currently, which does not allow for,
Stick-built.
yes.
stick built?
I personally think this is a lot of jargon it's a brand-new house that's gonna look nice in that area along the bayou side. It's not gonna stick out on any other houses. I support
They're honestly
it going there.
beautiful.
up
I
there.
have pictures of other homes that we've done and they're honest, it's not what everybody knows. I grew up in the crappy, this is not the crappy. They're beautiful.
I think a brand-new house on that bayou side in that area is gonna look fine.
What was the vote? Was it unanimous?
It was. We had one absent. Everybody else voted to deny.
Unanimous
Aisle.
against?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm
Again.
fine.
What was,
I'm
I
fine.
wanna
what was
see-
their
I wanna see.
rationale? Did they make any
you.
comments during the discussion?
Typically, they don't spot zone. So it's a
you said they
large
don't what?
area of single-family residential.
Right.
So they usually don't go in and change the zoning for just a small portion of property.
All right.
Beautiful home.
Anybody else have any other questions? Anybody else in the audience have any comments? Yeah, come. She's the homeowner though. Did you go to your planning and zoning meeting?
Yes, I am Courtney Payton. And they had mentioned something about if there were any other mobile homes in the area. I didn't know at the time, but less than a mile down the road, there are two. Older
Mobile
ones.
homes or manufactured homes?
Mobile homes, the older ones. less than a mile down.
I did confirm with the planning, that is actually zoned for, it's only a mile down the road, but it's a different zone. I spoke with Megan,
Anybody else want to
Courtney,
see?
put your name in the,
Last name?
last name for the
please.
records, please.
For the record.
Peyton.
P-A-T-O-N?
Yeah.
Thank you.
And you own that property already, ma'am? You're trying to buy it, and this is what you want to build on it?
I would like to table this and maybe get planning zone to come in and explain this to us.
I'd like to see the people have a nice house on that piece of property. That's just my opinion.
I understand that, but we also gotta protect everybody's, the zoning regulations throughout this parish.
Well, he didn't make a motion. So are you making a motion to
Yes, I'd
table?
like to make a motion to
Okay.
table.
Okay, this is
All
on
right,
item 9A 1E.
I got a motion by Mr. Adams to table. Can I get a second?
Could y'all explain what tabling means?
Put it off until another time.
If you explain what zoning means.
apparently nobody can.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's passing the way down. We'll make sure you.
No
put it
second on
back.
the motion? Motion fails. All right, next on the public comment is Mayor Arthur.
I didn't know I was gonna need my blankie and a pillow, so I can't.
You should have been watching most of the
I'll
recent
promise
meetings.
not to drag it on anymore. We had a meeting last night, and the cat issue came up. You know, 2 months ago, we had a meeting where about raising a tax. We had 6 people show up for our council meeting. Last night, we had a meeting about cats. We had a full house, did we not, Patrick? And it's unbelievable. There are people on both sides of the fence that complain about cats. And the lady called me Friday at my house and told me that she had bought her daughter a new car. She's a senior in high school, and that little girl went outside and a cat had climbed up on top of the car and with muddy feet and just walked around on the car and sit there and just left cat fur and stuff. And she just cried and cried, not knowing that the cat really hadn't harmed the car, but it looked terrible. But my reason for being here, I would like to, look, Janet Oakland made some very good points. I like the things that she said. I feel like our ordinance is very good too. This is a parish-wide problem. I'd like to see all of our municipalities and the parish government get together on this and have one ordinance, and it would just make more sense to us, okay? And then we all abide by it. That way there wouldn't be any questions. They say, well, I'm gonna move to Patterson, because they don't have that in their ordinance, or whatever. So if we all get together and turn in our ordinances, and we let these legal advisors go over that and make sure that we get the best that we can get in that ordinance, I just think it'd work better. So just take that into consideration. And thank you, Madam Chairman, for allowing me to talk.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Madam Chair.
Yes, sir.
Okay, on this, I believe they're trying to cut out on the ordinance that we have here. I believe they want to skip over, leave it out, where the animal groups can save the animals. Are you against animal groups saving animals?
I'll be honest with you. We have people that come up to the office and do all kinds of talking about, well, we've neutered and we've fixed 160 cats, and we've done this and we've done that. And the problem is this. When we introduced our ordinance originally, we had a lot of cat people. I'm just going to call them cat people, not in a bad way, but they were cat people. And they all said that we're going to pick cats up, feed them, and then take them and get neutered. And then after a while, there won't be any more cats. That sounds logical, but it hasn't worked. But we still got plenty of cats. We got plenty of cats. And we got all these people out there working, trying to neuter them and do things and do that. Either somebody don't know how to neuter the cat,
or either it don't work. So I would ask that we get together on the ordinance and come up with a good ordinance.
That's a great point.
You know, so I would appreciate if y'all would consider that. And we used to have the mayor's luncheons, and we would talk about things like that. And,
Won't y'all do it again and get ordinance together?
hey, we'll
You
get all those
responsible for
ordinances
that.
together and do it.
Mayor Arthur, I have a quick question for you. So your ordinance doesn't have anything that allows for any of these other veterinarians or independent, you know, non-for-profits to allow them feeding and re-release, I'm guessing?
No.
Or it said, okay.
Piggyback off there.
I don't think ours says that. Now, you know, if a veterinarian is taking care of animals and they are feeding the animals and release them, we don't have a veterinarian in Berwick, so it really hadn't affected us.
Okay. Does anybody else have any other questions for Mayor Duval? Thank you, sir. Appreciate
Thank
your
y'all
time.
very
Thank
much.
you, Mayor.
Appreciate
Yes,
you.
sir. I think we're finished public comment. So let's move on to number 8, report of from Mr. Sam Jones, Parish President.
I have about 12 pages to read.
Go ahead.
No, I just think y'all should have received.
Take your time. Go ahead.
I just wanted to ask the lady over here, are you sure that's going to be one house?
Mr. Jones had a question for you.
One house and no more? It's going to be one house and no more?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Absolutely?
The type of loan she's doing, she can only, it has to be real property, so it can only be one home. Now, it is two pieces. It's a double wide, so it's gonna be together, it'll be married together, but it is one home. Yes, sir.
And it's going to be stuck into the ground, whatever?
Yes, sir. It will be immobilized with the assessor's office, and it will be tied down. They have hurricane straps that they tie it, but it's also gonna be on a slab.
That was the shortest time I ever heard on that.
Every time I get up here, y'all got beef with me?
You're using the remainder of the mayor's time.
Okay. I'm going to postpone my reading till next time.
Mr. Jones, did you want to, you said you wanted to introduce the,
Those folks have been here for a while, and
well, that wasn't on our agenda, so we apologize for that. But do you want to recognize him at this time?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Come on up.
They not here for
Your report.
Boxing, BBB boxing, right?
They're not on the agenda.
I'll eat some
They had an
shrimp.
ordinance for a
I'll eat
reason.
some shrimp.
Hello, everyone. First and foremost, 5 minutes. All right. First and foremost, I want to thank you all for giving us this opportunity. Like the parish president said, we were not on the agenda, so I really appreciate the opportunity. And I want to thank you all for the support that you all have given us in the past. It's really been appreciated. As you can see, we have more kids. Actually, we have 12 kids that are registered right now with the USA Boxing. And you're looking at two state champions right here.
State your name for the record, please.
My name is Jason.
And he doesn't act like that. Come on, Mason.
I'm Mason Babb.
And the reason I said that is because these guys have done some phenomenal things within the last 12 months. Because we started this, I believe, in December of 2025, or 2024, my apologies. But we're moving at a rate that's unbelievable in regards to bringing these kids up to speed with the boxing. So I'm here today to talk about what we have coming up, which is March 14th. And that's about, 3 days away? And we're just trying to garner some more support, have some people come out there and support these kids and make sure that they get the recognition that they deserve. Because, any sports outside of the high schools, that, I don't even know if they have sports outside of the high schools. But I know with boxing, we're not in the high schools, and it's very difficult to get these kids the recognition that they deserve. They work just as hard, they're just as disciplined or more. But a lot of times these things go unnoticed because they don't have the platform, they don't have the school. So I just wanted to make sure that they get their due recognition. That's why I came up here. And
Where y'all gonna be on the 14th?
we're gonna be right here. I'm sorry. We're gonna be at the Folk Art Center, 1400 Willow Street. The bouts start at 6 o'clock. Doors open at 5. We're gonna have at least 10 bouts, but we also gonna have something else for you all. We're gonna have the dance team, the Royalettes. They will be performing, and we expecting them to do some unbelievable things in regards to dancing. Yeah.
And please state your name for the record.
Oh, I'm sorry. Ephraim Zimbalist Randall. I thought I said that.
We wasn't sure.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
But I'm gonna let them introduce themselves now, and so y'all can understand why I take this so serious. These are like my own kids now. Come on.
My name's Michael B.
It seems like they're so shy.
I know. Speak up.
My name's Jalen Madison.
My name's Colin Calloway.
Dalton.
What's your name?
My name is Malachi Dalton.
So these are the guys. We actually have 12 kids registered, as I stated before. But these are the guys that were able to come here today. And these guys, all of these guys they're not residents of Franklin or St. Mary Parish. I believe we have somebody. Where's Cody? He didn't show up. We have somebody from Hebert Parish. We also have some kids from the Patterson area. I believe we have one from Lafayette. I'm not sure. I know that they come from all over because we have a pretty good program. And what we need is to continue that. And the only way we can continue it if we get more support. I'm not here today to try to go on any sponsorships or anything like that. What I am trying to say is that I want y'all to come take a look at what we're doing over there. And y'all decide whether or not y'all should support us in more of a financial way. All right?
Thank you.
That's it.
Madam
Thank
Chair.
you.
I do have a comment. I went to your fight that you had in Berwick.
Yes.
And that was a great little event, man.
Yes.
I
Thank
tell you,
you.
I brought a bunch of my grandbabies there, and boy, we really had a good time. There was some good food there too, man.
Yes, sir. We look to see you back at Lace 'em Up. We will be doing another Lace 'em Up. That's an annual event for us now.
Oh yeah.
Yes, sir. So we look to see you. I will be getting in touch with you. Definitely.
Madam-
and
Madam
anybody
Chair.
else that want to contact me, my number is 337. It's on the website. So our website is, what is our website? ebpcommunityboxing.org. Y'all got to do that. All right? But anybody want tickets or anything like that, y'all go on there and look at the events that's coming up and things. Because we do have some other things coming up like the gala. That's what we do annually. I know Mr. Craig, he's aware of that. And we have some other events as well. But again, what we're here to talk about today is March 14th. And thanks, and giving you all thanks and let you all know that we really, really appreciate everything that has been done for us. Because I know for a fact, people just don't give away money. You have to have a cause. All right? Thank you.
Madam
All right.
Chair, Mr. Randall had requested a photo with the council, a quick photo. If we could move quickly, we could get him in and out.
Yes, I really appreciate
I was trying to get your photo in before that timer went off, but you're still talking.
Yes.
Look, you see? Right there, bam. Do I?
They're tall.
Sure, I can sit down.
I know.
Did he fix it? Close up now.
Have to be on our way.
Gonna make it.
We'd have to be on our way right now. I'll eat some shrimp at the casino.
That's what I told her. I said, no, we're not gonna make it.
Okay, item 9, report from personnel.
Text him to
Our CAO, Mr. Paul Gouverneur.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm happy to report that I do not have a report.
Good job. Hey, Ms. Mandy LeBlanc with our planning and zoning.
Okay, so Ms. LeBlanc has,
Whole basket tonight.
91A, recommend preliminary and final subdivision development approval for Beverly Winthrop. Recommend specific use for 4C Christian Committing. Preliminary subdivision development approval for Rivers Patute. Recommend rezoning for St. Mary Parish Government for Columbus Avenue. And a denied rezoning for Karen Bertrand. What is your wishes?
I'll offer a motion.
On all of them at the same time? or you
Yep,
wanna
if
do
y'all don't have no
each?
problem with the church tonight,
I think we need to bust them up.
We need to separate at least the denied one.
If you don't separate them and then if somebody gets vetoed, everything goes down, so you can. that's
well,
the
I'll
problem
move
with
on
it.
to church. B,
A and B?
A and B.
What you think?
I'll
I
second.
only got no problem with the church tonight.
No, if you move all together.
Second.
So we have a motion on the floor for 9A and 9B. Do we have a second? Oh, I'm sorry, Ms. Hebert, I didn't hear you. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we have C and D, preliminary subdivision development approval, and then St. Mary Parish Government for Columbus Avenue. What are y'all wishes?
I move on C and D.
By Mr. Hebert, second by Mr. Hill. Any more discussion?
Let's clarify, what do we,
Voting to
C and
approve.
D.
Man, the,
oh, I'm sorry, I'm
on
thinking about E, I'm
Columbus,
sorry.
what is that? That's just going from a commercial to residential?
Yes, the southern side of Columbus Ave is, for some reason, zoned commercial. And, I mean, it has always been used as residential. So we're just making it align with the UDC at this point. So it'll go to single family, which it should be.
Madam Chair, I need to change that to C because I need to abstain on D. I own property on Columbus. None of that side.
Right.
This directly affects me, so I need to abstain from D. So we can vote on just C. Don't mind, please.
So we have a motion on 9A, 1C. Hebert, Mr. Hill, would you like to second that?
Second.
Okay. Any more discussion on 9A, 1C? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I so move.
Second.
By Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I
Motion
oppose.
You oppose or you abstain?
Abstain.
I'm about to say, really? I said, really?
Well, hey, I might put it in the coffee
Motion
shop there.
carries.
Chicken coop.
Motion carries.
Item, now we can do item 1E.
9A, 1E. Yep. Denied rezoning for Karen Bertrand. What is your wishes?
I'll offer a motion to let this lady build her home.
I second that.
We have a motion by Reverend Matthews, seconded by Mr. Ina. Any discussion? So this is going to be, yeah, how are we voting on this? Because this is stated as denied.
So you would be,
We're overturning the denial.
yeah, not approving zoning's recommendation.
What's a yay and what's a nay then?
Okay, read the motion, Miss Lisa.
Denied rezoning Karen Bertrand. The motion was to
So you're-
overturn it. I don't know.
Allow her to build her home, is how
My
you say
motion is to
Allow- yeah.
overturn.
Okay.
Yeah,
So does
overturn.
that mean I have to vote no on the
Yay.
denial?
If your motion is to overturn the denial, a yay is for the overturn. A nay is to maintain the denial.
Okay.
Because
the
we're
opposite.
moving for the opposite of what has been recommended by planning and zoning.
Yeah, that's his
A
motion.
is to overturn
Overturn.
planning and
Nay
zoning's
is
decision.
A yea is to vote for the overturn.
Yes.
Okay.
do all in favor.
Okay. All in favor?
Yes.
Aye.
I couldn't hear nothing.
I'm against.
Okay. So who's against?
I am.
Adams? Dalgo?
Nay.
Belander? Rink? You again?
No.
Oh, okay, you, yay? Okay, and everybody else was yays?
Yes, ma'am.
So we have 3 nays, 7 in favor, 3 nays, and 1 absent, so it passes.
So she can build her home.
Well, this is another item. The ordinance was not on the agenda tonight. Whenever something is denied, it's not placed on the agenda. So with y'all permission, y'all need to instruct me to put a ordinance on the agenda for next meeting for introduction.
I'd like to have the ordinance put on the agenda, and I just want to say for the record, we got to stop running people out of St. Mary Parish. You'll go and build our house in Iberia Parish. How you like that?
You gotta also respect what people, what they moved into, what neighborhoods they moved into, what zoning requirements they have.
Well, so I mean, sometimes zoning requirements change. That's the world we live in. Can't stop people from living somewhere just because you don't want that next to your property. That's not always conducive.
Like I say, we don't live in Beverly Hills.
Item,
Not always
item
conducive.
10, report of council meetings. 10A, public hearing report, February
Go build your
25th,
house.
2026,
Well, tell me what I gotta
5:45.
I'd like to dispense with the reading except as written.
Motion by Dr. Rink, second by Mr. Hebert. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 11, report of meetings other than a council meeting. I don't know, y'all had like a little Brittany's project. Can we say that at this time? Try fundraiser, March 20th. Try white beans and rice and a dessert for the Brittany's project. So, we all have a little flyer. Okay, item 12, introduction of ordinances.
12A is an ordinance in compliance with ordinance number 1973, divisions 5.4, general procedures for public hearings, sections 5.4.3, specific use permits granting a specific use for the 4C Christian committing the community to Christ. What is your wishes? So moved by Dr. Rink. Next, we have for introduction is an ordinance in compliance with ordinance number 1973, chapter 5, procedures, divisions 5.4, general procedures for public hearing, sections 5.4.2, rezoning, zoning map amendments for the St. Mary Parish government for Columbus Avenue.
I can introduce that one too.
So moved by Dr. Rink. Next, we have adoption of ordinances. 13A for adoption is an ordinance prohibiting feeding of stray cats and dogs within the unincorporated area of St. Mary and imposing penalties for the violation thereof. Mr. Adams?
Madam Chair, I would like to put this vote for up for adoption tonight, but I would also like to strike section 2 exemptions for the time being.
Yes, so just to be clear, we're putting it up for adoption with the amendment of removing section 2.
Yes, ma'am.
I'll second that.
Motion by Mr. Adams, second by Mr. Hebert. Any discussion?
Ma'am, okay, Patrick, you stated, okay, on this taking out whether the animal rights people can't pick up the animal.
No, they can pick up the animal. In other words, you can't just go put food any way you want and get away with it.
But it's not nothing to do with these animal rights groups. Now,
No.
you're not gonna block them from doing anything
No,
to
not at
save
all.
animals.
No, it doesn't block them at all. But it's gonna block them from going put food, I tell you what, if Miss Janet would come up, she can explain it very clear.
So the purpose of the exemption is to get some type of structure for these organizations that are working informally within the parish, that are going out and setting out food stations. There's no protocols, there's no recourse in the ordinance for us as residents to be able to pursue in the event these food stations are causing harm. The purpose of pulling that exemption out is to maybe come back at a later date and readdress it. to put some protocols in place. Right now, you have people that are claiming they're part of TNR programs when the parish hasn't formally gotten to any type of TNR program. It's not recognized right now. So that's the purpose of removing it. And to stop them from putting up food wherever they choose to and claiming, oh, I'm exempt because I'm a part of this group or I'm a part of that group.
Okay, Paul, didn't we have a group that used to give us money for the cats? And they would have, and they picked up 18 at my house, 18 cats.
Okay.
A couple of years ago, last year.
Well, let's
And
say they
it was
just
a
picked
group-
up 17 from my house in January.
And they had a group that was giving us the money. Why did they pull the money?
The reason they gave me is because our direction didn't align with their direction, and they did give us, a good bit of money to fix up some stuff.
200,000?
No, it wasn't that much. No, but they were very generous, but they just sent a nice letter saying that we weren't moving in the same direction, didn't give any details as to why they stopped.
So was it because the animal shelter was not in compliance with their requirements of becoming a no-kill shelter?
They did not say that.
They didn't say
They
that.
didn't
But
specifically say
that's
that.
pretty much where y'all were heading, was to not have a no-kill shelter. So in the event that there's an overpopulation of animals in the area, then the residents have to pay for those consequences because y'all were refusing to put animals down.
They put them down, don't worry about that.
Do ya?
I said, they do.
I don't.
Okay, let's move on.
Madam Chair, I thought Mayor Duval wanted us to work together and come up with an ordinance. Why are we voting on this ordinance if we're gonna be changing it here in the near future?
To try to stop some of the stuff going on now.
Stop feeding cats?
Yeah, the way it's happening.
Yeah.
I think the biggest problem is they feed them in public areas. Maybe they ought to walk into the woods and feed them and let the cats stay in the woods.
Okay, any more discussion? Roll call, please.
Thank you, ma'am. This is on item 13A, and this is with the amendment to remove the exception, section 2, which states veterinarians and persons who acting within the scope of their employment with any governmental entity, nonprofit, or humane society which have custody of or manages stray dogs and cats are not subject to prohibitions of this section. Mr. Olander.
Ma'am.
Mr. Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rolfe, he's absent. Mr. Hebert.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Duhorn.
No, ma'am.
Mr. Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Rink.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Hidalgo. Reverend Matthews.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Ina.
Yes, ma'am.
We have 8 yeas and 2 nays and 1 absent, and the ordinance carries. Next, we're on 14B, resolution of respect in memory of Mrs. Rosemary Salzman Bro, Mr. Hill. By Mr. Hill, seconded by the council.
Discussion? Anybody want to say anything? Do you want her to read it, or?
No, please read.
Okay.
Whereas the Lord Almighty in his infinite mercy and goodness has seen fit to remove from our midst Mrs. Rosemary Salzman Bro, affectionately known by all as Rosie, at the blessed age of 106. And whereas Mrs. Bro was born in Donner, Louisiana, and a lifelong resident of Baldwin. And whereas Mrs. Bro spent years in various states and towns traveling with the Army and Shell Oil Company, then settling in Baldwin in 1954, purchasing and operating Bro's grocery store on Main Street, then relocating to the Sherrington Road, renaming it Bro's Foodland, where she dedicated most of her hard-working life. And whereas Mrs. Bro was a devout Catholic who loved her faith and was an active parishioner of Sacred Heart of Jesus Catholic Church in Baldwin, was a former member of the Catholic Daughter Court Assumption in Franklin, and a charter member of the Catholic Daughters Court Sacred Coeur in Baldwin. And whereas Mrs. Bro enjoyed life to the fullest and contributed her long life to hard work, a positive attitude, and her trust in God. And whereas the members of the St. Mary Parish Council wish to acknowledge publicly their sorrow and sympathy to the family of Mrs. Breaux and hopes that her family will find comfort in the thought that their grief and sorrow are shared by their friends. Now therefore be it resolved by the St. Mary Parish Council through the unanimous adoption of this resolution that they solemnly deliberate with sincere condolences, sympathy, and understanding during this time of grief, adopted and approved by the St. Mary Parish Council in regular session convened on this 11th day of March 2026, approved by Gwendolyn L. Chairperson, St. Mary Parish Council.
Roll call, please.
Thank you. This is on item 14, oh, is it 14B? Yep, 14B. Mr. Hill.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Rolfe, he's absent. Mr. Hebert.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Duhorn.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Adams.
Yes, ma'am.
Dr. Rink.
Yes, ma'am.
Mrs. Hidalgo.
Yes, ma'am.
Reverend Matthews.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Ina.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Olander.
Yes, ma'am.
We have 10 yeas and 1 absent, and the resolution carries. Thank you.
Fifteen A and B,
It's going to be, yes, just to state that I spoke with both of these gentlemen, and they will be willing to serve on the appointed boards that they were appointed at the last meeting. So these items have been withdrawn for tonight, A and B. 15, O Business C, discussion and action to rescind a resolution ordering and calling a special election to be held in the parish of St. Mary, state of Louisiana, to vote upon the adoption of an amended St. Mary Parish Home Rule Charter, making application to the State Bond Commission, and providing for other matters in connection therewith. I'm sorry, Ms. Hebert, I was supposed to put your name by that.
Yeah,
I
that's okay.
apologize.
I so
Ms.
moved.
Hebert, thank you, sir.
I'll second it.
by Mr. Hebert, second by Reverend Matthews. Any discussion?
Did you get a cost estimate on that, Mr. Patrick?
Only estimated about 80,000.
80,000?
How much is it gonna cost us otherwise?
Otherwise, if we had wait till November.
November 15 to 20.
All in favor?
All in
They did.
favor? Okay, sorry. Hurry it up, all in favor?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fine.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Sorry. 16,
16A is informational, 16B is informational, 16C, Ms. Caroline Byrne Kazan, Executive Director, Atchafalaya National Heritage Area, has written that the term of Carrie Stansberry on the Atchafalaya Trace Commission expires March 13, 2026. Mrs. Stansberry has indicated that she would like to continue serving on the ATC. Enclosed is a commissioner appointment form for the appointing the St. Mary Parish representative for the term March 13, 2026 to March 13, 2029.
I so
just need a
move.
motion and a second. Thank you, Mr. Adams. Second, moved by Mr. Adams, seconded by Dr. Rink. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Next, this is kind of, oh, this was the one with the levy district. The St. Mary Parish Council is responsible for submitting a list containing 3 nominations from each of the 8 single-member parish council districts. The governor shall appoint 1 member to represent each district. District 3 has juniors Paul Hebert Jr., Roy J. Morton, and David Landry. And we just need a recommended, like a motion
moved.
recommending these nominations.
So moved.
Thank you, Mr. Olander.
motion by Mr. Olander, second by Dr. Rink. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Next E is information, but I want you to be aware that you will have to take some action. Mr. Honorable James P. Crenus, as the Constable Justice of the Peace, this is Ward 5, the Parish of St. Mary, has resigned effective date of February 28, 2026, pursuant to the LARS 18583. An anticipated vacancy has occurred in the above specified office. Therefore, the governing authority shall, within 20 days of the office actually becoming vacant after February 28, 2026, but or On or before March 20th, make an appointment to fill the office in accordance with the LARS 18583. After an appointment has been made, the certified minutes of the meeting or a certified resolution should be mailed to our office. A commission will be issued to the person appointed to fill the vacancy. Please be advised that the special election is not required in connection with this vacancy per the ORS 18602, and the appointee can serve for the remainder of the unexpired term. If the governing authority does not timely appoint an individual in connection with the vacancy, we will transmit notice to the governor to do so in accordance with LARS 18602D. What are your wishes? Oh, well, you don't need to make any wishes, but we have to have some action on the next agenda.
Pick the person?
Yes.
We pick the person
Yes.
to fill the position? Any names been submitted?
No, sir.
Madam Chair, it does say that on or before March 20th of 2026. Our next meeting is March 25th.
Oh, I thought that was, but that's not 20 days. I guess it is.
Well, after February, so.
February 28th.
And I just got it. Just got it in the mail.
Guess we have a name tonight.
And I don't have any resolution prepared, and I don't have anybody's name, you know.
What happens, are we
Put it on the
out of
agenda for
compliance
25th.
as of
Do
then?
we need a
So-
special meeting?
Call somebody and see
Put it
what,
on the 25th. They resign on the 28th, yeah.
I'm thinking,
But
I think somebody messed up their dates. Yeah. February 28th, but on or before March 20th, 2026.
we have to call a special meeting.
What is the,
it seemed like they would do it when you get the receipt, huh?
basically, what is
Still
the
out
other
of it. At least I
RS
got it on the
statute? The
4th.
16,
What?
18602. What is that?
20 days would be the 24th.
Right, and our next meeting.
I received it on March the 4th, 2026, and they mailed it on February 26th, 2026.
So do y'all wanna,
Give it to legal, see if they can do something.
Well, I'm looking up these statutes right now, but you should probably, you have to call a special meeting and then we can cancel.
okay. All right, well, make the motion for us to adjourn.
Make a motion?
I have
Okay, Ms.
something,
McHugh?
I have something I want to ask the people from District 4. We need to have them to put that 4-inch line in. I've asked last time, I don't know if anybody's talked to them, but somebody who's in charge of that needs to get that, to put that in for Saronic. Period.
The water line.
Water and sewer for.
Yeah, you know what that?
Who made the motion? Who made the second? Mr. Hebert?
Go ahead, I'm good.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.